6 o'clock, good morning, live from the Circus Sports, the Mint Kentucky Downs studio. I'm Justin Hawkins. The NFL Draft Week buzz and rumors continue to heat up yesterday. Tom Pelissero reported that Tennessee cornerback Jeremiah McCoy's draft stock could be one of the biggest storylines this weekend, as doctors are now concerned McCoy might need another knee surgery. The ACL is reportedly intact, but may need to repair a bone plug that was used to repair a cartilage defect. Also, Dan Patrick yesterday reported on his show that, per his source, Nashville will host Super Bowl 30, saying, quote, "It is signed and ready to go." The new Nissan Stadium is set to be open in 2027. NBA news yesterday, San Antonio Spurs center Victor Wembanyama was announced on Monday as the first unanimous NBA Defensive Player of the Year in NBA history. Wembanyama is also the youngest to win the award at age 22. He secured 3.1 blocks, 11.5 rebounds, and 1 steal per game in 64 games played. In the NBA playoffs last night, the Knicks blew a 12-point fourth-quarter lead to Atlanta and lost 107-106. Guard C.J. McCollum led the way for the Hawks with 32 points, and that series is now tied at a game apiece. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, you got to go to USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Off and running on your Tuesday morning edition of Ramon and Will. Good morning on this brisk yet beautiful Tuesday in Nashville, Tennessee. We bring you the latest draft intel, the smoke screens, the rumors, the questions, and all the stuff that's happened over the last 24 hours. Your comments in the F&M Bank chat, Facebook Live, YouTube, Twitter, or Twitch. Your phone calls at 615-737-1045. Something just happened in this studio for the first time ever, right as we begin the show. I gave Ramon info on an NBA game that he didn't know.
Yeah.
Hawks get the win over the Knicks last night. This is nowhere near the most important story that's happening. I just wanted to document to all of our friends and listeners that I'm just an NBA guy now.
But, man, listen. I was in the bed early last night. I crashed. I went back and forth to Knoxville this weekend. By the way, we had a listener up there, man, that stopped me and my son as we were going to a training session. Yolanda listened. She said daily her and her family does. I think from Atlanta, if I'm not mistaken.
Shout out Yolanda.
Shout out to Yolanda, man. I told her I would shout out yesterday. I forgot, though. But I was dead to the world last night at like 9:15. I'm struggling. But I'm also watching this game. I'm like, okay, if Hawks, Knicks, they had a comfortable lead for a while. The Knicks did. They were hooping, absolutely kicking butt. Cat was doing this thing. Karl Anthony Towns, like everybody was doing their thing. Jalen Brunson went off. By the way, one of the most polarizing guys, I think, on the basketball court. Not polarizing, but he finds a way to make contact all the time. And it's just like, he's a menace. Like, I like him, though, because he's super aggressive out there as well. By the way, we got a resident Knicks fan who is not okay with what happened last night, too. Zach. Okay.
Way too early for something that high frequency in my ears.
Sorry, it's just us Hawks.
I hated that so much.
Let me know.
I hated that.
What happened, Zach? Did you see it? And by the way, how long have you been a Knicks fan? So Knicks and Jets. He really hates his teams.
And I didn't mention this to Will yesterday. I'm also a Mets fan.
Oh, that's gonna be fun. Yeah, you're down bad right now.
He didn't mention it, and like this is like a Mets hater land over here. In case you was
I don't really hate the Mets though. I hate the Phillies. I don't really hate the Mets.
Oh yeah,
I'm serious. I've been consistent on this.
You have been, because you and Sally go back and forth on the Mets, and it's real fun.
I'm just kind of like, nah, I don't really care. Yeah, right.
Zach, what the heck, man?
I think the Knicks firing Tom Thibodeau last year is going to be something that they're just not going to be able to ever recover from. They made the conference finals for the first time in 25 years, and they fired the coach that got them there for Mike Brown.
That's such
tough.
a Knicks thing. That's such a New York thing, man. And that game last night, again, I went to bed thinking Knicks got this in the bag. And you told me there was free throws at the end. Who made, Will?
CJ McCollum cooked in the fourth quarter, but he missed 2 free throws. And the Knicks, which the broadcast kind of did y'all dirty on this too, because the broadcast said that the Knicks had a timeout and then didn't take it and then went right down the court and took a shot, didn't take the timeout and missed. But it turns out they didn't have a timeout. The graphic was just wrong.
That's crazy.
So, yeah, no, it was fun. I was putting together my draft board like in rank order for Titans radio draft coverage Thursday, and I was like, what do I need that's going to be background noise but not take too much of my attention away? Then the NBA playoffs was the answer. It was great. I enjoyed it.
Zach carried
My Hawks,
time, man.
I'm the most casual Atlanta Hawks fan you will ever meet in your entire life. I didn't know CJ McCollum was on the team. I was looking up like, who do we have? Who we got? Jalen Johnson? Where did this guy go? Oh, he was at Duke, right? Yep. All right, cool. Jalen Johnson, CJ McCollum. I couldn't name you any other players that I watched the game last night.
So unserious.
Anyway.
Nickeil Alexander-Walker is the other big player for the Hawks. He was a great free agency pickup.
Saw him play in high school.
Did you really?
Hamilton Heights guy.
Get out.
He was teammates with Shea Gilgeous-Alexander at Hamilton Heights in Chattanooga.
But of course.
Yeah.
Up in, you said.
Saw both of them play BA here when I was in high school.
Wow. I mean, look at them.
They won by one.
Okay, go off, King.
Yeah.
They're actually cousins.
Their cousin?
Right.
Oh, yeah, that's right. He does have a cousin in the league. Mm-hmm. Well, what a game. I had zero idea that they ended up losing that game. It was a comfortable.
Huge NBA guy.
Because you know why I went to bed on this game? Fat Joe was courtside, and I spotted him on the sideline.
Joe? Is that a rapper?
Yes, it's a rapper.
Okay.
He used to be with Big Pun. The song Lean Back. A lean back.
Oh, I know that song.
Yeah, of course you know that song. Might be played at your wedding, okay? Just throwing it out
Probably
there.
not. But
Probably not. Okay, I might request it. Either way.
Oh, okay.
But I saw Fat Joe had left.
We'll have you and Slay on the able to request songs list for our DJ.
I'm here for, don't know about
That's going to be a short list.
That's what I was going to say.
Really short list. Yeah.
But all the celebrities from courtside had left by then.
Commenter on YouTube says, Will thought Dominique Wilkins and Kevin Willis was still there. No, I wasn't alive when they still played for the team, but I was in the Joe Johnson, Josh Smith, Jeff Teague, Al Horford era of being an Atlanta Hawks fan.
Look at you knowing
when I was in high
Hawks.
school. Yeah, back when they were still red and blue. They've changed logos and jerseys, I think, 4 times since then. Which, old man take, why was the home team wearing black in an NBA playoff game? What are we doing? This is my ultimate old man take. The home team in a playoff, you can wear your silly little jerseys, your silly little fun jerseys other times of the season. Like wear that on a Tuesday when nobody's watching and half the players are load managing because LeBron doesn't want to go to Memphis. Like that's fine. You can wear your black jerseys at home then. Wear white in the playoffs. Anyway, yesterday, Peter Schrager went on his podcast, Ramon, and said some big things about the Titans. We spent so much longer on the NBA than I expected to this morning, but that's perfectly fine. Perfectly fine.
It's so good, though.
Peter Schrager is coming off his prediction of Jeremiyah Love to the Tennessee Titans. This was some eyebrow-raising intel and comments yesterday. Schrager Hour podcast on YouTube. Here's Peter Schrager.
Well, I know I spoke with someone in the organization in Tennessee, and they told me this morning that they have seen 6 different players tagged to them this morning for their 4th overall pick by people in the media. 6. There's the 4th overall pick, and 6 different players have been tagged to them. I will say this. I don't think the Titans are taking Jeremiyah Love anymore. I am moving off of that. That was something I had in my mock draft and felt like that was the pick. As we are now 4 days before it, I do not think the Titans are taking Jeremiyah Love at 4. I think the Titans are taking either one of the 2 following players. Sonny Styles, the linebacker out of Ohio State, or the Bailey Reese, who doesn't go there or is available. And then my 3rd backstop would be Carnell Tate. Yeah, Carnell Tate could go as high as 4.
Interesting.
We're hearing.
Very interesting, Peter.
This is
coming off the prediction of Jeremiyah Love, says Reese or Bailey, Styles or Carnell Tate, Ramon.
Kurt is going to be pissed. Because he's huge on
Who?
He's Curtis from the YouTube chat. He's huge on the Love train.
Everybody's big on the Love train.
Everybody's big. And Peter Schrager will not have any favorites here in Nashville, Tennessee with that little statement that he made. But here's what he said. He's talking to people inside of the building. There have been 6 names brought up. My thing is why the subtraction of Jeremiyah Love is playing a part in this so big. Is it, again, just looking at this roster, just to lean into Peter Schrager's side of it, there are 5 or 6 backs on this team already. Now, of course, you bring in Jeremiyah Love, you can cut them. Maybe they feel better about Tony Pollard, Tajay Spears, than to take a risk on the running back. Will, that's the only thing that I have on this one. Because, again, you're looking at a defensive-minded head coach. And those big 3 of edge rushers and including Sonny Styles is maybe more appealing to him than the instability of trying to figure out if you're going to use a running back. I wasn't expecting this yesterday.
I think it's interesting. I'm not totally convinced that this is legit. I respect Peter. I respect his reporting. I respect the sourcing I imagine he has of this information. But I do think that teams are in the business of playing the information game here. So what do we know about the way the board is perceived in – what are you like? What's happening?
Birds sitting on the ledge watching you.
I thought they were going to attack you, just like the Hawks did the Knicks last night.
Okay.
See? Pigeons are going at it this morning.
Anyway,
all right, we're back. We're back.
They said, what? Love's not going to the Titans anymore?
That's exactly what. He's peeping around the window now like, Love. We're here to help out Kyle.
As I was saying before I was rudely interrupted by birds. What do we know about the way teams think the board is setting up in the top 10? It's defense heavy.
It's very defense heavy.
The Bengals got Dexter Lawrence because they probably don't feel like they can get a solid defensive piece at the end of the first 10 picks. So if the Titans want Jeremiyah Love to get to them at 4, they need Arizona to trade out of 3. What would motivate a team to trade up in front of the Titans? Them putting out there that they want a defensive player. If the Titans want Sonny Styles and or one of the top edge rushers, that motivates a team to go up from, let's say, 9 with Kansas City, which I reading yesterday, I think they're a little less inclined to take defense. I think they're probably going offensive line.
Yeah.
You have, obviously, Dallas. You have Washington. You have options of teams that want to move up, and you have a team that is reportedly very motivated in moving back. Otherwise, they're likely taking Jeremiyah Love, and that's 3 with the Arizona Cardinals. So the thing that's got to happen for the Cardinals to allow Jeremiyah Love to fall to 4 to the Titans is they've got to move back. And saying that we're taking defense helps the Titans motivate a team to move up and make a deal with the Cardinals. That could very well be happening here. Or it could just be that this is truth. And you know what? It's Reese or Bailey is plan A, and that's what we're going to go with. But I think the timing of all this is always really interesting, how we sit here with the same information for the better part of a month after the NFL Combine, and then all of a sudden, all of it changes on Monday of NFL Draft Week.
Yeah, this pretty much imploded my mindset into Love. Like, yes, I sold Love. Eduardo called in yesterday about my just backing of Jeremiyah Love. Like, that's where I was, and it makes sense to me to pick him. But again, the way this team set itself up, I feel like going into this offseason with free agency, it was very defense heavy. If you're going to take a stance and try to solidify one side of the ball to help Cam, that's where I am as well. That's where I was on the Sonny Styles side of this as well, is saying to just looking at the way it was built, you have a better team suited to allow a young guy to grow up, especially if it's edge, especially if it's off-ball linebacker. The issue is Jeremiyah Love by many is the best player in this draft. If you got Mendoza, you got Reese second. That third pick that you mentioned with Arizona, they could stick and pick there, and they could take, of course, Jeremiyah Love too. And maybe that's the other side that Peter Schrager's helping push is, well, look, we're off of Jeremiyah Love if you're that serious about him too, because you can't get caught lacking on draft day as well. There's numerous scenarios that have to be played out. And to me, this is another one of them. They have to be realistic about it. And I think the defense is ready for a guy as opposed to trying to figure out where a rookie right guard may end up starting in this draft. Starting for this team in 2026 too. For a running back that needs protection and blocking up front as well. With no moves made on the offensive line and no imminent answer as far as who you're going to sign, it could lend itself to moving on from Jeremiyah Love. You just don't want to risk that much or pay that price to Kevin Zeitler or anybody else to make him go. There's so many parts that have to go into a running back working. The defense is already somewhat set up with it. And I don't think you would bet your eye at David Bailey. But
No. David Bailey has to think plan A.
And that's the next question.
I think they value him over Love.
Who is the elite rusher of this class?
David Bailey.
It seems to be Bailey.
He is the best pure pass rusher in this NFL draft class.
Does this team have an elite pass rusher on it right now?
Not at edge, no.
Not at edge. You got to consider it is where I'm at. And Peter Schrager may have talked to the right people. It's just a matter of what does the game day cards look like whenever they're settled on Thursday.
615-737-1045, our number. Austin Price at 8:20. Braves broadcaster Brandon Gaudin at 9:20 this morning. We've got 4 Braves tickets to give away to a game of your choice. We'll do that at 9 o'clock this morning. Live for the 1045 The Zone Circus Sports Studio. Kentucky's largest sports book can now be found at Circus Sports at Kentucky Downs. Coming up, what Todd McShay is saying on Monday of draft week about the Titans with the 4th overall pick. Peter Schrager talking about the Cardinals and their interest in trading out. And there's only one corner now that's expected to be a surefire top 15 pick because of new info on Tennessee corner Jermod McCoy. We'll give you all that and more coming up next. Hey, Will Bowling here for my friends at Lee Company. Are you tired of those surprised breakdowns and emergency repairs on your home systems? Well, Lee Company Plus gives you a smarter way to care for your home. For as little as $14 a month, Lee Company Plus members receive 4 annual inspections for their heating, air conditioning, plumbing, and electrical systems. Plus, members receive up to 20% off on every visit and have access to exclusive discounts and promotions. You can learn more online at leecompany.com/plus. Platinum Home Protection starts with a Lee Company Plus membership. So make sure you head online and learn more about the perfect plan to keep you ahead of Mother Nature. Lee Company's got over 80 years of experience serving Middle Tennessee. They're a multi-award winning great place to work, great service, and great hours as well. They're open 24/7 and ready to help you the moment something does break down. Head online to leecompany.com/plus to learn more. That's Lee Company, all you need. Tuesday morning on Ramon and Will, there is draft intel, there are smoke screens, there are reports, and we try to make sense of all of it here on the show. 615-737-1045 at Ramon and Will, where you get us on Twitter. So Todd McShay, writing at The Ringer, obviously a great follow for draft stuff, has a little bit different intel than Peter Schrager on the Titans. Says if Jeremiyah Love doesn't go 3 to the Cardinals, I'd expect him to be the pick for Tennessee at 4. I don't see him getting out of the top 5. If Love is gone but David Bailey is available, I think David Bailey could be the pick at 4. Don't rule out Sonny Styles. There are some people in the Titans organization who see Styles playing the Fred Warner role in that scheme. Obviously, Ramon, doesn't take a rocket scientist to understand that person is probably Robert Saleh, who would be petitioning for Sonny Styles to be the Fred Warner role in the Titans defense.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I think this for Titans fans who are stuck on one athlete, too, who are listening to us, like, the quality of these selections are high still. It's a matter of who's trading in front of you now. If Arizona takes Jeremiyah Love, is usually the biggest conversation we've had as of late. But each one of these guys could fit our plug and play the way I look at them as well. You talk about David Bailey. Okay, that's fine. You're in a situation in which this guy is going to be a rush specialist. Again, rushers usually get better at their run stopping. That's one of the things I had, one of the concerns I had about David Bailey, but I don't think it's a big concern. His talent is huge. He's got the highest pressure rate of all college rushers coming out this year, if I'm not mistaken, as well. You look at what you'd be asking him to do. He will be implemented into a defense with a lot of veterans, which Jeff has guys that will have to pay attention to him. There are rushers around this defense, and just the way it's set up, it will pressurize the heck out of you. So it makes sense why David Bailey is considered one of the favorites inside of this building. Moving over to a guy like Sonny Styles, obvious. Why? Because, of course, Fred Warner types that are always a part of this. If he really did like Tremaine Edmonds, right, off-ball linebacker as well, according to Rand Carthon, he absolutely loved Tremaine. When Tremaine was cut from Chicago, that was one of the conversations we had. This could be a landing spot for him. So Sonny Styles makes sense for this team too. It really does come down to, and I think it's the conversation that we've had as far as the fans' perspective go. Who has star power out of this group, this trio? I think it's 3. Cardinal Tate, to me, I don't think necessarily fits into a top 4 selection at this point. He's a name that if you did move back, I'm sure there are people inside of the building that like him. We like Cardinal Tate, the conversation around him. If you move from 4 to what? After 9 or 10?
For Cardinal Tate, I don't think he's getting past Washington at 7, apparently.
Washington at 7.
Sounds like that is their guy.
Even better, because I thought Washington would take Sonny Styles if he was there. You know what I'm saying? Like, there are conversations across the board for all of these top of the draft guys. So for me, looking at all of the tea leaves and the smoke that's being blown up into the air right now, it is teams trying to figure out what they're putting themselves, in my personal opinion, through simulations of what's the worst case scenario that could happen for them going into the draft this year.
Definitely.
Because all of these guys, and we've said this, every single one of them you like, but there's something that you don't like about them. Even Fernando Mendoza. Like, each one of these top prospects got something you dislike about them.
And that's always true, but I do think it's especially true this year.
Yes.
When you have the best players of the draft who play positions that you would prefer not to be picking in the top 10 because they're not foundational building block premium positions.
So what's fascinating is this, though, too. A lot of fuss is made about one round, this one, the first round. And, like, the biggest picture to me, the bigger picture is the entire draft and how everybody else is fitting into it. That's why I'm glad we're doing this big 3, because you're probably more likely to fail on drafting the first-round draft pick than the rest of the draft because you got more selections. You want the first-round draft pick to hit because that means that you found an elite talent. But there's a lot of fuss about one particular guy. Some teams got double draft picks this year in the first round. What I'm getting at is this. The entirety of the draft can save a GM's job as well.
Yes, coming up at 7:20, we're going to give our dream hauls with our first 3 picks for Ramon and I. What you mean by big 3.
But there's I don't hate it because the first rounders drive this league. They absolutely do when they hit their potential.
They keep getting chances.
They keep getting chances.
Yeah.
But this group of 4 that I think this team is looking at, potentially 5 or 6, according to Peter Schrager, all of them could instantly fit on the Tennessee Titans team. I think it's smart to remove the favorite tag from a lot of these guys, specifically Jeremiyah Love, because he's got a lot of conversation around him. I think Jeremiyah Love, you need to start kind of emancipating yourself a little bit from. And then I think Arvell Reese as well. Like, Arvell Reese is somewhat favored to be the 2nd overall pick in the selection right now. Well, in this 2026 draft.
It's true. Yeah, those odds have dropped significantly. And Jeremiyah Love's odds to go 3 have dropped, but according to DraftKings, there is still enough out there to believe that Love is most likely to go 4 to the Titans. Or just 4, period.
4.
Yeah, at this point. So it's going to be interesting. I think there is reason to believe that there is certainly something to the Love stuff. I mean, the Love odds to go 4 actually dropped more in the Titans' favor.
Did it?
Yesterday at -135. David Bailey plus 350.
Plus 3.
The second best odds, which I think is pretty decent value considering the Cardinals. Again, like I said yesterday, if it's ownership that wants Love, then I think Love's probably going 3. But everything out there says that there is a strong push for Arizona to get out of that 3rd pick. One thing that's interesting, Chad Reuter wrote this at NFL.com about a trade up. No team has traded 2 first-round picks in the same year to move into the top 3 since 2003, which is what it would take for the Dallas Cowboys to take 12 and 20 to go up to 3. And still, they don't have a pick in the top 100 other than that.
That's risky.
If that's what they do.
Yeah, that's too risky.
It'd be a very Cowboys thing to do, but it would not also be a very smart thing to do, in my opinion.
If you give up 2 first-round draft picks to move up to number 3 position, then you absolutely are telling yourself this is NFC Championship minimum to me.
And you think David Bailey is Will Anderson if you're willing to do that for David Bailey.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And that's the issue, to your point. Like Dallas Cowboys, like Jerry Jones, he makes these type of risks. He just plays that world because I think we all look at Jerry and what he's built with the Dallas Cowboys, and since the 90s, there hadn't really been any relevance to their game other than the first, second round of the playoffs. This, to me, if he's given up 2 first-round draft picks, he's almost guaranteeing a NFC championship type of year. And I think anything less than that,
for it.
and what I'm going to say, anything less than that is a failure of giving up 2 first-round draft picks, in my personal opinion. There's more value for him to almost wait instead of just saying, this is our guy to complete the puzzle to me, if you're that strong about it, like you're that convicted. Like Houston moving up the way they did in the 2022 draft, like a 2023 draft with Will Anderson.
Yeah.
Like you got to be that type of aggressive right there.
Peter Schrager spoke about that as well on the Schrager Hour podcast, detailing why the Cardinals want to move out of 3.
Cardinals at 3. I do think the Cardinals have great interest in Jeremiyah Love. That would be a 3rd overall pick. However, I also know that the Cardinals would be listening to those who want to call up to trade up. So the more that we see Jeremiyah Love 3 to the Cardinals could also be kind of pumping that geyser a little bit and saying to everybody outside, hey, come on in. If you want, we're open to business. Here's the negative on Jeremiyah Love 3. Forget the running back value. That's one conversation. They're already paying Tyler Algier. They're already paying James Conner. If you add in Jeremiyah Love to Arizona's backfield, you have a $25 million running back room on one of the worst rosters in football. That would be the antithesis of team building. That would basically be everything we've learned over the last decade on how you build from the inside out, and you don't pay your running back, and you don't pay your safety, and you don't pay your off-the-ball linebacker. That would be basically the inside out of that and the inverse. And you're saying with the 3rd overall pick, we're going to take a running back, and then we're going to pay $25 million to our running back room while we have holes all over the rest of the roster. But then I go back to what I was told by an NFL GM with a top 10 pick. Throw positional value out the window for this draft. Why? There aren't a ton of great offensive tackles in this draft. There's a bunch of good ones. There's no great ones. There aren't a ton of lights out pass rushers in this draft. There's a couple great ones, You've got Reese and Bailey. They're both considered top 10 picks in any draft, but these are not Myles Garrett or Aiden Hutchinson.
It's Peter Schrager on the Schrager Hour podcast.
I don't like Peter Schrager right now.
Okay.
He's covering all his bases. Do you hear me? Every single one of them is covered in his explanation of why he's saying everything that he's saying. He's giving you the bad and also giving you the but. Why? Like, he's doing every single thing that a journalist, I think, should do that's getting intel to not give away his lead on it, because he's saying that paying $25 million for a running back room, essentially. Like, what Peter's also not saying is they could trade away James Conner. Like, that's the other part of this equation that could happen on draft night too. But, of course, he scares you with the idea that it could be a $25 million running back room in 2026, which is unheard of in today's NFL. But, again, then he mentions, well, of course, you throw out position of value in a year like this, and it somewhat makes you understand why drafting Jeremiyah Love 3 overall.
Playing both sides.
He's playing both sides of this one. And I get it, because he's collected clearly a lot of intel. This is why ESPN stole Peter Schrager away from NFL Network, because he's got real context and context of everything that he's saying right now. And the more I listen to him talk in these interviews, Will, the more I'm seeing just a bloom of smoke in the air, because nothing he said is overly convincing other than the scenarios. And that, to me, is he's gotten intel from the Cardinals, from the Titans, from the Jets, and everybody else.
I think from all 32 teams, honestly.
And he's just meshing it right now. And I personally do not like it. It's gotten my anxiety up about the draft night now as well, because we're all set on what we know and think these draft picks should be for each team. And it makes sense. Only one I'm mostly confused about is why are the Jets overly in love with Arvell Reese when you got a guy in Aaron Glenn that needs an instant answer for a team that was one of the lowest sack rate teams of the entire NFL last year in the New York Jets? Like, David Bailey satisfies them. And then you
Aaron Glenn's not making the pick.
But you canceled the Bailey draft. Like, and you're right. There's that side of it, too. It's like they're drafting over you. Like, we'll pay you to leave Aaron Glenn, but it sets him up for failure again. Like,
or maybe Aaron Glenn doesn't believe he's been set up for failure there. I don't know. I don't think that's a foregone conclusion.
$8 million a year, too. I'd believe whatever the ownership tells me to at the time, too. I just hate when we recognize teams are mostly in a lame duck year. The two lame duck teams for me this year are the New York Jets and the Arizona Cardinals.
Miami Dolphins.
Miami Dolphins about what?
They're a lame duck team.
They're a lame duck team as well?
No question.
I'll give you that.
All that dead cap money on Tua with Malik Willis at quarterback.
Yes. So that's the big three of the NFL then for the next 2027 years draft.
Feels that way. I'm trying to think if there's any others, but I think that's about right.
I joke the NBA on how they set up the lottery and stuff like that. The NFL shouldn't be in that business at all, because there's too much at stake for them to play this game. And year-to-year draft projection I feel like was off from last year to this year.
Tom Pelissero says that Jermod McCoy has a medical red flag. NFL media and NFL.com writer with this to say.
As for another injury, we're going to be monitoring closely. Tennessee cornerback Jermod McCoy, who did not play at all last season, has certainly drawn a lot of scrutiny from the NFL medical people in the pre-draft process. And there is a possibility that he is going to slip in this draft because of the knee that kept him out last season. Let's talk about what this is and what it is not. It's not the ACL that he had reconstructed. My understanding is the ACL itself is fine. All the scans look good. The concern is about a bone plug that was used to repair a cartilage defect in his knee. Some of the doctors that have seen his scans are concerned that he will need another surgery to replace that bone plug, which would be an extensive recovery. We know this, Ian. McCoy feels good. He certainly looked it, ran really well at his pro day. In his mind, he is fully anticipating being ready to roll in the 2026 season. But you got 32 team doctors, 32 degrees of risk tolerance. Everybody is looking at this. This is a top 10 talent
No
who
doubt.
potentially may not go that high, may not even go in round
Yeah,
one.
if there was no knee injury, no doubt that McCoy would be discussed among Mansour Delane potentially as CB1, which whoever drafts him is going to get an incredibly talented player. And if some of this sounds familiar, some of the same conversation we're having about McCoy is the same conversation we had about Will Johnson last year, is the same conversation that was going on about Miles Jack several years ago with the Jacksonville Jaguars, who, by the way, played like 8 seasons, had an excellent career. Will Johnson battled some different injuries, but obviously off to a very good start on the field. It's not a discussion, Rhett, of is he going to play next year? Is he going to be okay? Teams are unanimous. He is going to be fine. It's just about long term, which is why when Tom mentions him slipping, it's like, how many contracts is he going to be able to play? These are among the questions, but no doubt a very, very talented player.
Ian Rappaport and Tom Pelissero. A little bit of a red flag on Jermod McCoy, Ramon.
This one bothers me the most because this bone plug surgery is common. It happens all the time. So basically, it's almost like if you're ever seen wood carving, like they use like the wood notches to tie into basically the other wood, and it pretty much makes it whole. It fuses together, basically, is what it is. So we're hearing it's not about the ACL at all. That injury is not a concern whatsoever. They're saying that they're worried about it down the line. Well, here's the thing. Like, if they're worried about it down the line, most teams are expecting to only get 4 or 5 years out of a guy. There's just the underlying joke, keep them young, keep them dumb around the league. Like, yes, you want to see these guys grow into it, but if they can go get another one in 4 years and justify the 4 or 5 years they got out of them, I find this as if they're acting like mom and dad, and usually teams don't care about stuff like this. And the other side is, too, again, this is one of the most common surgeries that the NFL does when it comes down to knee preparation or repairing when it comes down to these types of surgery. Not anywhere I've seen makes this a big concern. Now, the cartilage side of it, he'll just have, like most players in the NFL or NBA or NHL, degenerative knees in the future. That's the cartilage. That's what causes arthritis down the line, too. He'll have some achiness in his knees, but as far as his ability to run, knee stability, him jumping, leaping, making plays, and stopping on a dime, that's a non-issue. We're talking about cartilage. That's arthritis. And for the most part, guys are dealing with that on a day-to-day basis anyway.
Sound like the Allen Iverson clip of, we're talking about practice. We're talking about cartilage.
Respectfully, I say that because some guys deal with knee pain differently if it gets bone to bone and stuff like this. But, Will, to your point, we're talking about cartilage. If there's a doctor in the house, let me know if I'm minimized because I've directly dealt with cartilage or lack thereof in a knee. And you get a Euflexa shot. You have to, yes, do therapeutic things around it. But this isn't a structure thing.
Not a bone. Not a
tendon.
We're talking about cartilage.
We're talking about cartilage.
That's the only thing that you don't want to happen because you don't know how degenerated it is currently, and that's the only thing that they're not telling
They're
you.
just saying it's a chance.
Right, but if it is pretty degenerated, bone on bone is very painful and does restrict your movement because it creates scar tissue. It doesn't allow healing, which is what the bone plug is made for. Like you said, it's basically taking a piece of bone from a non-weight-bearing bone to the knee, which is a full weight-bearing bone, in order to promote the healing process. And if it's too degenerated, it will not heal very well.
But they don't say that in a report, though, that is degenerative right now.
Exactly.
They're talking about down the line.
But that might be why he may fall later into the first round or out of the first round.
They're drafting guys with torn ACLs.
Not in the first
in
round.
previous years.
Yeah.
Like in previous years, they have. Sure. This is my point.
Sure.
And I'm confused as to why we're carrying right now.
I do think there's a general sentiment that teams don't like being surprised by medical reports. If they know someone's torn their ACL, they know how to prepare for that. They know the process. They know what they're dealing with.
No doubt.
I think teams don't like being surprised in any context of this process.
What about, never mind. I'll talk about that later. I was going to say, what about when they cut guys and they're chilling on vacation? That's a surprise to the player.
Well, yeah, that's a surprise to them.
Just saying.
I don't mind doing that when the key card
good for the
work.
goose, not good for the gander. Okay.
There is a quarterback that is also getting some medical attention in this draft process. I think there's a crazy alternate history regarding Garrett Nussmeier's injury and what he played through last season at LSU. We got new details about that we'll give you next.
It's Ramon and Will here for Window Nation. Good people, spring is here. The weather's been awesome, man. It's a great time to open up your windows. But what if your windows don't open easily, or they leak, or are broken, or you repainting them again? That's just not okay. Let's not do that, okay? The pros at Window Nation, they can help you get new, energy-efficient windows at a great price, Will.
Ramon, they can with Window Nation's The More You Buy, The More You Save sale. You get a deal for the very best out there. They're going to help you replace those windows and keep whatever air you want outside and not inside from getting inside. You can save up to 50% off all the windows for your home. You can also get them with 0% interest financing for 5 years. With installation crew leaders averaging over a decade of experience, you can trust Window Nation to install your windows right the first time. We love working with Window Nation because of their A-plus rating for the BBB, their 50-point inspection of every window before it leaves the factory. Check them out at windownation.com. With over 45,000 five-star reviews, there's no other place to go than online to windownation.com. Hour one of Ramon and Will here on 104.5 The Zone, streaming live at 104.5 The Zone TV, Facebook Live, YouTube, Twitter, or Twitch. So Monday, NFL Network's Tom Pelissero had a bunch of reporting, and some of them on injuries and things that guys were dealing with or are currently dealing with. I certainly prefer, Ramon, the ones about guys that are on the other side of stuff. Of like, hey, by the way, this guy was dealing with this last season.
Yeah.
At least helps their stock a little bit. It's less of what's wrong with them, more of what used to be wrong with them. So, hey, now they're good.
Right.
Like LSU quarterback Garrett Nussmeier, who reportedly underwent medical testing in the NFL Combine that revealed a cyst on his spine. That cyst, according to Tom Pelissero, was the main source of pain that Garrett Nussmeier was dealing with throughout the 2025 season, as it was pinching a nerve that caused discomfort in his oblique. Garrett Nussmeier had 9 appearances, just under 2,000 yards, 12 touchdowns last fall in a season that was supposed to catapult him into potentially being a top 10 pick. Asymptomatic since the Senior Bowl. If it were to pop up again, Pelissero reports it would take a minor invasive surgery that would hold him out 2 to 3 weeks. There is an alternate timeline where this either doesn't happen or is just dealt with in that 2 to 3 week invasive surgery in the summer or in the spring last year for LSU, where Garrett Nussmeier's still a top 10 to 20 pick.
Yeah.
LSU doesn't fire Brian Kelly. Ole Miss doesn't lose Lane Kiffin to LSU. Lane Kiffin might be the head coach at Florida. You can literally tie a very straight line from a cyst in Garrett Nussmeier's back to Lane Kiffin potentially being the head coach at Florida, or just still being at Ole Miss, and like 30 or 40 some odd players not being at the current schools that they are today who enter the transfer portal.
Which is fascinating because a quarterback dealing with pain issue is like something that you would be thorough in on the college world. Like I'm sure LSU's got world-class doctors down there and facilities that will help them find this type of stuff. And you happen to find it at the worst part of his post-college career at the Combine. It gives you answers as to why, maybe he wasn't able to fully rotate on footballs or the toughness of him being hurt or whatever the case may be. But this is, I don't want to call it flagrant because people overlook the small details each and every time. But to your point about all things that have happened to the history of LSU and Ole Miss and Florida at this point right now, I just feel like there should have been something more. There should have been more done about figuring out why he was in discomfort. And again, there'll be a team that end up taking Garrett Nussmeier that may end up getting a very talented guy. But the issue is this. In this league, when it comes down to second, third, and fourth round quarterbacks, they usually don't get a shot because you assume they're just backups. And that's where he, to your point, could have been a top 5 pick or top 10 pick that may not ever see a field in the NFL. Like, not everybody's getting a Tyler Shuck situation.
And he's 24.
Yeah.
24 years old, played for Joe Sloan's offense at LSU, a lot of RPOs, a lot of first-round buzz after last year. He is fascinating to me, Ramon. I can't quit Garrett Nussmeier.
You can't quit him?
Because LSU's run game ranked 124th in college football last year, and he was hurt.
This is true.
And he had a totally new offensive line starting in front of him.
But where does he find an opportunity in the NFL? That's the problem.
I think he is smart. I mean, he's a coach's son. He's got the last name Nussmeier, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
Son of an NFL coach and longtime college coach. I think if you are a team with an aging veteran, this is the perfect third-round project for a place like L.A., for a place like Detroit. I think that would make a ton of sense here. I even think about a place like Tampa, who had a little bit of a disappointing season from their veteran quarterback a season ago. Is this a project for someone like Kevin O'Connell in Minnesota to take a flyer? Is this Pittsburgh? Pittsburgh kind of already has a player like this in Will Howard, but
that's what I was thinking.
I like Garrett Nussmeier.
Detroit?
And yeah, I said Detroit.
Okay, Detroit.
Yeah. I don't know. I think it's a really interesting situation for a guy who is smart. He's got 23 starts in college, hasn't played a ton of football, but he is older at 24 years old. I think at worst, you're getting a solid backup quarterback who's serviceable for a team that, as a contender, always needs a solid backup option, break glass in case of emergency quarterback.
No doubt about it. He most definitely can play. It's just the season that he had coming into his biggest just job interview was the worst that he could have possibly had with all the talent that they had as well. His ability to have a big arm is there. He's smart enough, as you said, too. He checks all those boxes. Just that this medical right here is the biggest thing that could really take him down, because in this league, we can probably count on one hand how many non-first rounders are starting in the league, or early, that is, too. Jalen, Shuck, late round guys, it really doesn't happen as much anymore across the league. You either got to be a first round or.
I mean, Jalen Hurts.
Yeah, Jalen Hurts. Yeah, that's what I meant. Jalen Hurts and Tyler Shuck are the only two that are getting opportunities like this in the league early in their career. Brock was it through injury?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
it was.
Brock's the only. Yeah, three of the 32 teams.
I think there are more. I just can't. I mean, that's a large question about
Dak.
32 different players.
Yeah.
Dak Prescott's stuff. I mean,
Dak
there are more. It's just not common that those guys end up being stars.
Which is terrible for Garrett Nussmeier, because everybody's going to be looking for 2027. That's the problem that this entire draft has right now.
Shedeur Sanders. It's another one. I mean, technically, last season he was a starting quarterback.
He penciled in as a Brown starter right now. I think he is.
No, it's Deshaun Watson.
Is Deshaun?
Yeah.
Dang, Shedeur.
Owner says he could still be a home run trade. Yeah, the count's not 0-2, it's about 0-10.
That's what I was saying.
On Deshaun Watson being a home run.
They're pitching a no-hitter right now.
615-737-1045 is our number. Coming up, Dan Patrick dropping a big nugget on the Super Bowl, reportedly coming to Nashville. We'll tell you what he had to say next.
Once a year in the spring, Genesis Diamonds does something incredible. It's a 3-day massive store-wide sale with savings up to 35%. And it's happening this Friday through Sunday. So go ahead and mark your calendars down. If you've been around here for a while, you know what a big deal this is. Exclusive jewelry designers fly in for this. With trunk loads of all new trendy design jewelry from New York and California. The staff at Genesis know they can break all the rules at this event. Big savings on rings, earrings, pendants, bands, bracelets, just case after case of mind-blowing deals. And during this event, you can also take advantage of extra discounts on natural diamonds and lab-grown diamonds as well. So you can build the ring of your dream and save like never before. Colored gemstones are also included, designer fashion, just one-of-a-kind engagement ring mountings as well. This is a once-a-year store-wide sale. Special financing is always available, but again, it's 3 days with up to 35% off store-wide. Because if you're getting engaged this year, celebrating a milestone, or just want to add some amazing jewelry to your collection, this is the sale you cannot miss. Again, it's Friday, Saturday, and Sunday only at Genesis Diamonds. They're located in Green Hills and Cool Springs.
7:03. Good morning, live from the Circus Sports, the Mint Kentucky Downs studio. I'm Justin Hawkins. The NFL Draft Week buzz and rumors continued heating up yesterday, starting with Tom Pelissero reporting yesterday that Tennessee cornerback Jeremiah McCoy's draft stock could be one of the biggest storylines coming up this weekend, as doctors are now concerned McCoy might need another knee surgery. The ACL is reportedly intact, but he may need another repair for the bone plug that was used to repair a cartilage defect. Dan Patrick reported yesterday on his show that, per his source, Nashville will host Super Bowl 30, saying, quote, "It is signed and ready to go. The new Nissan Stadium is set to be open in 2027. NBA news yesterday, San Antonio Spurs center Victor Wembanyama was announced on Monday as the first unanimous NBA Defensive Player of the Year in NBA history. Wembanyama is also the youngest to win the award at age 22. He secured 3.1 blocks, 11.5 rebounds, and 1 steal per game in 64 games played. NBA playoffs last night, the Knicks blew a 12-point fourth-quarter lead to Atlanta and lost the game 107-106. Guard C.J. McCollum led the way for the Hawks with 32 points, and that series is now tied at a game apiece. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, you got to go to USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Away we go into hour number 2 of your Tuesday program. Here on Ramon and Will, at Ramon and Will on Twitter, wherever you download podcasts, and streaming live on 104.5 The Zone TV, Facebook Live, YouTube, Twitter, or Twitch. Coming up, we give you our dream hauls for the Titans in the opening 3 rounds. I've got a Plan A draft and a Plan B draft, and I'm curious which one you guys like more. Ooh. One of them's got Jeremiyah Love with the 4th pick. One of them's got David Bailey with the 4th pick, and different positions are drafted throughout the next couple of rounds with those changes at 4 for me. But Ramon, yesterday, Dan Patrick made some headlines locally saying that Nashville is going to host the 2030 Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Said on his show that the city's approval to host the game is, quote, signed and ready to go. This is very early in the process for this to be signed and ready to go. I thought this was interesting. Obviously, Dan Patrick is reputable. I'm not going to act like I've got any kind of insider stuff here other than to just kind of trust what Dan Patrick says and to say that the timing makes sense. Mm-hmm. For 2030 to be a first opportunity for the Titans to host a Super Bowl, which would be 3 seasons, the 3rd season of Titans football in new Nissan Stadium, starting with 27, 28 as a second year, and then 2029 season, 2030 Super Bowl being year 3.
No doubt. It lines up. Let the stadium get up and running, man. The riverside or the riverfront also has to be built up as well. So that's the other side, too, behind why Nashville, you're not getting it sooner. I know a lot of people was looking like, well, we should get it in 2028. No, it doesn't really work like that, man. There's a lot of movement. There's a demolition that has to happen as well around the old stadium, and this gives you a little bit more grace to set Nashville up to be the ultimate party city / host city as well. If it goes off like the draft did, I'm sure people are going to be clamoring to come back. That stadium, I'm not sure if y'all have driven by it recently. I drive by it every day coming into here. It's looked like the top is about to go on. There's a lot of motion that is going on around that stadium, and having this soft announcement of the Super Bowl, it aligns right up with it. I'd heard about this probably about 4 weeks ago that they were going to get it in 2030. But again, I'm not into breaking news and situations like that. So I just wait to see if my source was actually real, and it lines up perfectly. Okay. You have to be excited for this, though. I don't know if anybody ever imagined that Nashville would be even in the conversation considering the old stadium at the time. And now
10 years ago we wouldn't, for sure.
No. And the indoor does so much more for you. So, well, get ready to rent out your house. It's going to be crazy here.
Pass. Hard pass on renting out my place.
Yeah, I was told to, 2029 was never a part of the conversation for the city getting a Super Bowl.
Yeah, and I imagine
Too
going through the process for 29 helps you understand what it takes for 2030, which always seemed to kind of be the most realistic timeline. I think the thing I'm most excited about for this building and for the sport it would host is I'm excited to see a Final Four in that building.
A Final Four.
Because this is such a, I don't want to say smaller. I mean, it is a smaller capacity, but it is so right on top of the playing field that if there is a football stadium that would make the most sense to host basketball, it's this one. Considering how much closer you are to the field and how much steeper I think the stands go up. And I've not been in the new building yet. I've not had my schedule work out where I can go on one of these media tours. But from everything that we've heard and from people we've talked to who have been in there and from people who have been involved in the design process, that's one of the things they prioritized was fans feeling closer to the action. And that will set up perfectly for basketball as well. Obviously, don't have word on that. What we know is what Dan Patrick told yesterday, that it appears to be ready to go for a 2030 Super Bowl.
Now, that's the question right there, is the setup of it being the host city, right? Like, this is where being meticulous about how you build this team up over the next few years plays a huge part in, like, to be able to say the Tennessee Titans played in the Super Bowl in Nashville is the goal, which is why looking at these drafts, looking at the hiring Coach Saleh, the alignment of the front office, like, you want to see everything about this process moving forward set you up for success. Cam's maturation, I think, to me, becomes top of mind when it comes down to having an idea or at least a chance of hosting the Super Bowl in Nashville and having your team be a part of it as well. Mm-hmm. That, to me, is very appealing on top of just being able to say, yeah, we hosted the Super Bowl here, because I don't know if you guys have been to one. Well, I think you have, or at least have worked it.
I've been to the week of one in 21 season with Bengals and Rams.
Y'all, listen to me. There's nothing better in sports, in my personal opinion. I know the Final Four is elite. Game 7, NBA Finals is elite. Stanley Cup is cool. I think WrestleMania's up there as well. But we're talking about, to me, combining all of those together for over the course of 2 weeks, because it's not just the week of the Super Bowl. You got to also think they might end up having a Pro Bowl here because it's an indoor stadium. So there's 2 weeks of hosting from one of the biggest entertainment businesses in America, and that's the NFL.
The biggest, probably.
The biggest.
I think Nashville, from the one Super Bowl I've been to and from talking to a lot of people who have been to them, this city's layout for media events, for practices, for different things that you have going on in a central location is one of the best setups that you could possibly build. Yeah. Considering the convention center is walking distance from the stadium, which is walking distance from hotels. It is a downtown area. You don't have to move around a ton in a car. Everything is walkable in this city. That's the one thing about Los Angeles that I know media has complained about. San Francisco, everything is so spread out from team bases in San Jose and Santa Clara and San Francisco, all the Sands. And Minnesota, pretty spread out for media and Radio Row and press conferences and all of these things. Like, having that centrally located, when you get media on your side and you start talking about how great something was, it strengthens your chance of not just being a one-off city, but then being a heavy rotation city. And I strongly believe that Nashville is not just a one-off Super Bowl city, but that they are a heavy rotation Super Bowl city.
Hopefully it turns into Atlanta, New Orleans.
I think it does.
Arizona or Scottsdale, right? Glendale, yeah. Everybody likes coming here. That's number one. And then if they pull this off the same way they did with the NFL draft, or how this was the city with the host, like the best hosting, you'll end up being one of those heavy rotation.
Let the challenge of picking the halftime show begin.
And I just think it's better situated, too. Instead of going all the way to Santa Clara.
Yeah.
And or somewhere else on the West Coast, like this, to me.
West Coast teams wouldn't agree with that.
Well, I mean, but they get hours back in the day.
Sure.
There's that part of it. So,
sure.
Congrats, Nashville, if Dan Patrick's correct on this one.
Yeah. I think if there's one city that could get Taylor Swift to do a Super Bowl halftime show, it's this one.
Absolutely this one.
Not Carrie?
No, it's not going to be country.
Carrie who?
I will be shocked.
Underwood?
I mean, a lot could
The
change.
only
I will be
Carrie.
shocked if it's a country singer.
I definitely
Really?
think it's
Yeah.
a country singer that will headline.
NFL choice or Nashville choice?
It's Rock
Neither.
Nation's choice.
Neither. It's Rock Nation's choice.
Yeah, it's Rock Nation's choice.
Oh, that's right, because
on that.
Jay-Z does that now.
Yeah, he's partnering up with the league on this one.
Atlanta had Maroon 5.
Who? Sure did. Who? Yeah, I don't think the city determines it.
Wasn't it?
Only city that like leaned into the culture was L.A.
Yep.
L.A. was the only one
And that
was-
matched up with Jay-Z.
That was fire, though.
It did match up.
That's
with
still
him.
my favorite.
And I thought it was New Orleans got Kendrick Lamar, so Lil Wayne didn't even get
It was
that.
Maroon 5 in Atlanta in 2019. Yeah, and it wasn't Lil Wayne for New Orleans. Like they're not really going with local acts anymore.
I'm sorry, DeMario, but 3-6 Mafia will not be on
Not big enough.
stage. Will
Respectfully. I mean,
not be
they
on
used to be,
stage.
probably, but they're not big enough now.
They'll make
That's
an
someone
appearance.
you could, yeah, that's someone you could bring out to do a song.
Yes, you could.
Yeah.
And I think somebody should bring them out to do a song.
100%. Tennessee thing.
Yeah, absolutely. I was talking to my youngest. It can Morgan Wallen clean it up enough that come on, that's the
I
only
doubt it.
side of
You know,
it.
I would love it. I love
know.
Morgan Wallen, but I doubt it.
Can he clean it up enough to get on the stage to be the headliner for it?
I don't know. He's the problem.
Like these
I
are
would say
world
it's
stars
most likely
too.
to be like a Taylor Swift or a, I don't know, Kings of Leon's another one that could do it. I don't think they're quite big enough.
They're still doing stuff.
Oh, yeah.
I love them.
I don't think they're big enough.
I don't think they are either. No. But I would be surprised if it's country. And if it is, I think you're going with somebody who has appeal from country across all genres and platforms. But also, like, it's 4 years away.
Is Chris Stapleton of that conversation? I know I heard
I
3HL.
think that's a really interesting one. I think that one would make a ton of sense.
Yeah.
Big enough?
Yes. Chris Stapleton is
100%.
big enough to do a halftime show.
Do you get Garth Brooks out?
I don't know. I think now you're wading into a different realm. But
he's a
I think
stadium
Chris
tour
Stapleton,
guy.
I think Luke Combs is in that discussion.
I would love
think
that.
Lainey Wilson or Ella Langley with their trajectory. And again, I'm looking 4 years down the road. I'm not talking about now. But
Yeah. Somebody said, God, no, not Taylor Swift. She's the
Yeah,
biggest
well,
artist. Yeah.
We can all be Ella fellas, though.
Who?
Ella's fellas.
Who's Ella?
Ella Langley.
Is that somebody from your high school?
Oh, my God. 615, I'm not even. 615-737-1045. I don't know. You're not a big dandelion guy?
What, the flower? I've gotten them around the house from time to time.
You got to be
Ramon
her.
confirmed not an Ella fella.
What?
Choosing Texas.
I just want to be.
I choose Tennessee.
Choosing
What are you
Texas,
talking
I
about?
can tell. It's only on in our lobby.
These are songs.
Every single day when we're getting here and
These
leaving.
are songs?
Which, by the way, there's a radio in our lobby. I always turn to the zone when we walk in and out of here.
I do too.
It's always on the country station. Unless there's somebody sitting there listening to it, I'll turn it to our
Only
station.
Ella I know of is Ella May that sing the song Boot
You've
Up,
not heard
Boot
Choosing
Up.
Texas?
I've heard Boot
It's
Up.
the most overplayed song in America right now.
It's been
By
on the
Ella
top
Langley.
charts for at least like 10 weeks.
I'm so tired
Y'all
of it.
are-
And I like her.
y'all
I like
playing.
Ella Langley. Very talented.
I think
very
you're the
good
one that's playing.
performer. No, he's not joking.
I'm so serious. Like, I didn't even know,
I know.
Ella Langley. Like, that sounds like somebody I graduated with. I graduated with a group of Langleys. Josh Langley
Her
was
people
my best
are
friend.
Ella's fellas.
Coming up. What is your dream draft haul for the Titans in the first
I hate
3
y'all.
rounds after this?
If you're looking for TRT that's flexible enough for your lifestyle, man, head over to Low T Center, the #1 name in TRT. They have you can choose from testosterone shots, pills, or whatever. You can pay with your insurance or out of pocket, or even have your treatment shipped directly to your door. And now Low T Center is offering new peptides, new treatments, and so much more, where you can boost your energy, libido, and confidence for results that you can actually feel. Synergex and Low T Center, they provide testosterone replacement therapy and hormone replacement therapy tailored to your body, your lifestyle, and your budget. When hormones are imbalanced, patients feel fatigued. They have a low drive, man. The mood changes and body changes as well. Balancing your hormones means living a better, healthier life. And testosterone, y'all, is not just for men. Testosterone is important for women as well. It can help boost your energy, confidence, and your drive, and so much more. And no, it won't turn you into a man. Doses for women are very careful, so they can help you meet your goals. The free T-test is a simple blood test called a total testosterone test. And it takes about 20 minutes to get your results, and you're out the door with the personalized provider-led care. Listen to me. You can go ahead and book your free testosterone test now at fixmylowt.com. That's fixmylowt.com.
Ramon Will on 104.5 The Zone. Ramon Foster and Will Bowling at Ramon and Will with dream draft hauls for the Titans. Maybe borderline unrealistic, borderline too optimistic, but that's what makes them dream draft hauls. Ramon Foster and Will Bowling at Ramon and Will. Let's go to the phones, though, first, because a couple of you want to chime in on the Nashville Super Bowl before we give you dream hauls in the first 3 rounds. Paul is in Franklin, first up.
Morning,
What's up, Paul?
Good morning. It's great to be alive and be in Tennessee. Hey, I was going to let you know right quick about the musical artist for the Super Bowl. Man, it ain't just country, dude. Our roots is in country, but the state of Tennessee is, we are all genres, man, from country to hip-hop to rock. You could probably get somebody like Morgan Wallen or somebody like that to be the headliner, but man, you can pick from hip hop to rock. I mean, the guests he could have would be off the charts, man. So we figured to hit a home run on that too. But what I want to say about the Super Bowl is, I knew it was coming. Look, when we had the draft a few years ago, that wasn't a big ragu. That wasn't a single. That wasn't a double. That wasn't a triple. That wasn't even a home run, bro. That was a grand slam.
Tell him, Paul.
I mean, everybody seen it. And so I knew we was going to be on the map for the Super Bowl. And, Will, I'm just going to tell you, you right, brother. We going to be, because it's going to be a hit, we going to be on the big circuit for a Super Bowl hosted every 5 years, because it ain't going to be nothing but a grand slam. And, hey, draft that Jeremiyah Love, man. I think he's the real deal. That's my comment. God bless y'all. Go Vols and tighten up, baby.
There you go, Paul.
Thank you, Paul.
Been a while, man. Glad to have you back on the line.
Not a double, not a triple, not a home run, but a grand slam.
But a grand slam,
Is
Paul.
that wrong?
Hey, Paul, you tell him anytime. He gets me fired up, Will, every time, Paul.
Andy in Clarksville up next. What's up, Andy?
What's up, Andy?
So I think regardless of whoever headlines, I think they got to have as a guest. They've got to have as a guest Dolly Parton. I mean, that is Tennessee through and through. So I don't care if it's an artist who's not from here. The way it goes now, 5 years from now, it could be somebody we don't even know of now who just blows up in the next few years who ends up being the headliner. But I think what you'll see is, for, say, the national anthem, you could have Garth Brooks and Trisha Yearwood. You know, Lift Every Voice and Sing. You could have Warren Treaty. And then all the concerts that are going to happen the weekend coming up. And additionally, back when the draft happened, my brother-in-law owns a cigar shop in East Nashville. His shop was kind of the official fans gathering place for the then Oakland Raiders. And I think all businesses around town are going to be excited to be like the official fan gathering place for all the teams. And so that'll be a chance where even if you don't get tickets to the Super Bowl, you can have a super fun football weekend and enjoy music and just party.
No doubt. Oh, it's going to be a big old party. That goes without question right there. And I'm excited for it.
Appreciate the call.
Andy, appreciate that, man.
If in 2030, is there potential to have a Dollygram instead of a hologram?
Hey, don't do Dolly like that.
No, I'm not trying to. I'm not saying she's not going to be with us. I'm just saying, is she going to be able to
listen?
As long as she doesn't
fully perform.
I'll carry.
As long as she doesn't perform, what do you mean?
Yeah,
She has to perform.
Yeah, she has.
This may be a hot take. I'm not a big fan.
You ready, Will?
I leave.
I love her as a person.
Out of the studio right now. This is what the heck? What the heck are you talking
You
about?
look me dead in my eyes. This
what?
bottle is going up against your head.
She's a fantastic person,
Justin.
a role model,
Justin.
everything.
Never said
a
that out
figure.
loud.
People can hear you, right?
But I was
I
never
swear.
a
God,
fan.
Nashville and America can hear you.
Just
If
of the
there was-
music.
What?
I
If
like
there was
what she
ever-
sings
9 to
about.
5?
Yeah.
I will always love you.
The book club?
Yeah.
All the stuff that she does in the community? Like, this is a great human being, Hawk.
Yeah.
Are you the devil?
It's ridiculous.
Are you Satan?
No, I'm Hawk.
You hate that kids can read, don't you?
Yeah, that's what it is. He hates Dollywood. And you know what? I hope your son never gets to experience Dollywood. How about that? I hope he never gets a fresh
Never
book.
gets to ride the Tennessee Tornado.
I hope he never gets to.
What the heck?
I hope he never works 9 to 5. I hope he works from 6 to 6. How about that?
That's crazy. It's absolutely crazy.
You said that out loud.
We have to move on. Otherwise, I'm going to spend way too long getting angry about this.
Did it change your mood? I just need to know, Will.
Yeah, it did.
I thought so.
Let's talk about dream draft halls for the
welcome
Titans.
to the show, Zach. Welcome to the show.
What the heck, man? All right. I guess we're just going to do
Apparently, I'm not the only one.
We're going to do the... Nope.
Don't do this.
Nope.
Don't
Man,
drag
this
nobody
YouTube
else
chat
down.
is-
We're doing the rest of
I've
the
ignited
show.
something.
We're doing the rest of the show under protest. Rest of the show is done under protest.
I'm shocked.
Dream draft halls for the Titans, Ramon. We're making 3 picks. Round 1, round 2, round 3. I've put this into plan A and plan B. So based off of the way the first round pick goes, I am changing around. I'm just giving you 2 options for each of these. A little over optimistic, a little unrealistic, but that's what makes it a dream hole.
Mm-hmm.
If everything goes perfect, these are the guys you end up with. You've got one plan here for you, or did you do a plan A or plan B as well?
So when you did a plan B, I had, of course, I'm always got way more answers than I need. But
I figured
got
you
a
probably
plan B.
would, so
Yeah.
I decided to as well. All right, well, give me your plan A draft haul for the Titans at 435 and 66.
Here we go. For me personally, even though I made a big stance yesterday, I still roll with Sonny Styles. My second round pick, I've changed my tone on way more so because you need immediate help and you need an eccentric player to me, a dynamic one that can do multiple things, and that's Jeremy Bernard.
Ooh, okay. So number 1, Sonny Styles, the inside linebacker from Ohio State. Second round, you're going Alabama wideout Jeremy Bernard. Why him specifically?
His tape is so versatile. You put him in the backfield, which we saw against the Vols. He's an end-around guy. He's a good in small spaces type of wide receiver as well. He's very precise in how he runs his routes, and he's got good hands as well. And in the year in which we expected a 17, 18-year-old to be as elite as he was, it was Jeremy Bernard, a guy that knows how to step up in these
Talk about
opportunities.
Ryan Williams, for those who don't know, the 18-year-old.
Yes, and they announced his engagement too, which is kind of crazy. But Jeremy Bernard, to me, is consistent. He's one of those guys, Will, that you're not going to ask to be a superstar, but even if you go get a high-caliber one, Jeremy Bernard is still going to make plays. He, to me, is an elite 2, a C version of a number 1 if he has to be. He's not afraid of the light. And my third option, Keelan Rutledge.
Well, I will spend more time on Bernard
go
first.
ahead. All right.
6.71 second, 3 cone time, fastest at the NFL Combine amongst wide receivers. Quick cuts, quick release, good route runner. Also forced 17 missed tackles in 2025. Offers return experience as well as another option to Chim DK. Had 5.1 yards per rush, 5 career rushing touchdowns. He's dynamic with the football in his hands. Think Robert Woods at the beginning of his career if Robert Woods was a little bit more dynamic with the ball in his hands.
I would say a smoother Debo Samuel because I think Debo is aggressive in his style.
Bigger and more physical. Yeah, right.
Is that a good comparison?
I like that. Jeremy Bernard, 6'1", 206, 4.48 in the 40, 1.52, 10-second split, or 10-yard split.
Yeah.
And again, 6.71 3-cone drill. Very quick in terms of his agility and ability to make quick cuts.
Him getting out of tight spaces is elite, man.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah.
I like it. I think that rounds out the wide receiver room well with the 2 other guys you have as main options in Calvin Ridley and Wan'Dale Robinson. So Keelan Rutledge is your pick at number 66. I'll be honest, this was even overly optimistic for the dream scenario. I think there's a chance Keelan Rutledge is a top 50 player, maybe top 45 player. But if there's a world where Keelan Rutledge is there at 66, I will pull something sprinting to the podium.
And the only reason I put Keelan Rutledge at 66 is because I'd much rather have Jeremy Bernard, but you said a dream scenario. My dream scenario is there's a run on wide receivers in the second round and he gets pushed down, which is it could be a reality as well. The draft kind of plays itself. Like you don't see people breaking the trend usually during the draft. Wide receivers go, all of them seem to be going to wide receiver and DBs.
2-year starter at Georgia Tech, Keelan Rutledge at guard, if you're unfamiliar with him as you're just tuning back into draft stuff. Right guard for Buster Faulkner, the first Georgia Tech player since Calvin Johnson to earn first-team All-America honors in back-to-back seasons. NFL scout told Dan Brugler and the Beast, if the ACC had a Royal Rumble, I'd bet on this guy to be last man standing.
Yeah.
He is mean. Yes. He's physical. He is a great run blocker, 33 1/4 inch arms, a little bit longer for guards, or at least solid frame-wise. 505 at the 40 at 6'3", 316. 7.543 cone drill, solid athleticism and agility. He was a team captain at both MTSU and Georgia Tech. Models his finishing toughness after Denver's Quinn Miners. Check, check, and check. I would be all in as a plug-and-play starting right guard. And, Ramon, that's even a guy who there's no controversy.
There's no controversy.
He's coming in to start day one at right guard for the Tennessee
Even
Titans.
as a mid, second, third round pick, absolutely will.
Brent Key said about him, quote, I can confidently say he is the toughest player I have ever coached.
It looks like it.
He coaches a lot of tough players. His quarterback, Haynes King, was a pretty dang tough player.
And that when you watch Haynes King tape, you see him too. And the other side too, the Keelan Rutledge's game is as big as he is, meaning his height and stuff. He pulls. He's not afraid to go on left and right. When guys hit him, he walls them off. There's movement and mobility in his tape as well, which is good for what I think this team is going to be, a gap scheme inside zone squad as well.
I've got plan A as Jeremiyah Love at 4. UCF edge Malachi Lawrence at 35. Who I heard Chris Long talking about this on his podcast. He had Daniel Jeremiah on. They put out a video. He said Malachi Lawrence has as high of a ceiling as any edge rusher in this entire draft. He has been a rotation-heavy player at UCF. He averaged 39 defensive snaps per game in 2025 for Alex Grinch in that rotation-heavy UCF defense. Think about the way that Rodney Garner and Tennessee under Tim Banks have rotated bodies in and out and kept guys fresh. That's kind of the way Malachi Lawrence was utilized at UCF. Ramon, he's got a 1.57 10-yard split in his 40 at the NFL Combine at 6'4", 253. 4.52 in the 40. Vertical takeoff. Think David Bailey without the production. And you're talking about a sprinter out of the blocks in what Malachi Lawrence can provide for you. Aggressive on the field, easy going off of it, according to Dan Brugler and the Beast, who says an NFL scout says he keeps to himself, not a leader type, but very good toughness and solid football character. He finished top 10 in UCF history in career sacks. 7.5 in 2023, 5 in 2024, 7 sacks in 2025. And again, that is with a heavy rotation. He has had surgery on both his shoulders over the years. He does miss some tackles. He is a leaner built guy who is a pass rush specialist who's not going to give you as much in run defense.
Yeah.
But in the second round, I'm more willing to sign up for that than I am in the first with someone like David Bailey, who's going to have to be asked to be on the field for 3 downs and give you more in run defense. Malachi Lawrence, at the beginning of his career, at least, Ramon, I'm okay being a pin your ears back, go get him guy on 3rd downs.
You know who he reminds me of? And I say this with all due respect because I liked him as a player and what he did as a young player mostly too, but Arden Key. That's what, looking at his tape, somewhat similar to how they get off the ball. They're always going to be fast off the ball. They're always trying to get off the quarterback. The violence that they play with is there as well. I look at Malachi Lawrence's tape and he looks like he's 5'10" because he plays so low. Because to your point about what you're asking him to do, he's a pure rush specialist. He's getting around the corner as quick as he can. I wrote in my notes about him, you have to have a plan against a guy like him because if you don't, he will ruin your day. He's the type of edge rusher that is simply trying to run through your face and trick you into believing that he's going to do it every single play, and he gets around the edge. Got a little bit of stiffness to his game. His ability to close out and his speed is pretty elite off the edge to me. He's just one of those relentless rushers to me.
Sure. On YouTube, commenter says, UCF, you have to question that competition level. I don't think so anymore.
Look at the tape.
UCF's in the Big 12.
Respectfully, I say, look, his tape is hot.
I mean, last year UCF played a decent schedule. I mean, they didn't win all those games. They were 5-7, but last year UCF played Texas Tech, BYU, Oklahoma State, Kansas, Cincinnati, West Virginia, North Carolina. Okay, maybe not North Carolina. If you're going to question UCF's competition level, you have to question Texas Tech's with David Bailey.
Tech, yes, you do.
This is not Your
Or Ohio
American.
State.
This is not your American Conference UCF. This is UCF that plays in the Big 12 now.
Yes.
Final pick for me in my Plan A dream haul is Georgia State wide receiver Ted Hurst, who is starting to get major buzz as this thing goes. We know that it's been reported the Titans have interest here. First player in Georgia State history to make Bruce Feldman's freak list, combined for 127 catches, 1,965 yards, and 15 touchdowns over his junior and senior seasons. Played for Hugh Jackson in his scheme at Georgia State. Starter for 3.5 years, 2-year starter playing in Turner Field for Georgia State. 2 seasons of Division II before that. Long-limbed, long receiver with 4.42 speed and a 1.55 10-yard split at 6'3", 206. 79 and 7/8 inch wingspan. The production is just off the charts.
Didn't he have a day against Vandy?
Yes, he did. That 2024 film against Vanderbilt is impressive. Had nearly 200 yards against Vanderbilt in Georgia State's upset win over Vandy a couple of years back. He is a dude. He is a vertical threat. He is a big down the field target. 70.9% of Ted Hurst's catches resulted in either a first down or a touchdown. That is the exact kind of guy that I want, catching footballs from Cam Ward, and the kind of target that I think this team could use a lot more of to round out the technicians underneath in Wan'Dale Robinson and Calvin Ridley at this point of his career.
And all he's done is taken on more responsibility and got more production out of each and every year he's been in college, too.
That's right. I do not think he'll be there at 66.
I like those trends, though.
Yeah.
If you're trying to project somebody.
Sure. That's Plan A. We'll give you Plan B. Dream hauls for the Titans in the first 3 rounds after this. Credit card interest rates are now over 29%, and most people are only making the minimum payments, so they're getting nowhere. Hey, it's Will Bowling. Here's what many homeowners don't realize. Using the equity in your home, you can easily access hundreds of thousands in cash. With Loan Pronto's Rapid Equity Loan, you can pay off your credit cards, your existing HELOC, your car loans, or get money for that home improvement project. One client just got $100,000 approved and saved over $1,500 a month. And here's the best part. With Loan Pronto, you can do it all from your phone. With zero out-of-pocket, no hard credit pull up front, no appraisal, no long, drawn-out bank process, and no touching your first mortgage. Rates are at near 3-year lows, so act now. Go to loanpronto.com, see how much you can get in about 60 seconds. That's Loan Pronto with 2,800 5-star Google reviews. Call 615-499-5780 or visit loanpronto.com, 615-499-5780 or online at loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, NMLS consumeraccess.org. Ramon Will continues to the sounds of the marvelous Dolly Parton. Ramon Foster and Will Bowling, we've given you Plan A. Now it is time for Plan B, Ramon. On dream draft hauls for the Titans in the first 3 picks. Who you got at 4 in your Plan B?
I just appreciate that songbird right there.
As you should.
My B version of my first 3 picks would be the way it's falling and set up, David Bailey.
So David Bailey's your Plan B behind Sonny Styles, not Jeremiyah Love.
My outlook on this is that as strong as the defense is set up, they might want to lean more into the defense in 2026.
Ooh. What does that mean for your quarterback, though?
It means you already got Tony Pollard, and you pick a good talent in the second round. Jeez, get my words together. Second round is the way I view it. I look at this as a developmental offensive draft. Is how I'm viewing it. I think there'll end up being more offensive players picked after the first round because we've spoken about this draft as well when it boils down to how the top 10 is elite defensively. You kind of want one of these guys.
I'm okay with that other than at receiver. They've got developmental wide receivers.
Yeah.
They have 2 day 3 guys in Chim DK and Elikai Manor. I don't think there's a need to spend day 3 draft capital on a receiver unless you're just floored that someone fell to that point you didn't expect to fall to that point.
Gotcha. But the running back group, the way it's kind of set up, though, too, you can find quality in the 3rd or 4th round if you don't get Jeremiyah Love. Again, we said it yesterday. As much as we both love what Jeremiyah Love could be, the perception that you can just find a serviceable running back is always at top of mind.
I'm not sure that's as true in this draft. I don't think this is a very deep running back draft.
I'm just saying as far as free agency goes.
Sure. Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
Okay, who's at 35 in your Plan B?
Feels dirty talking about Jeremiyah Love like that. But I got David Bailey. My second one I'm willing to take a risk on is Chris Bell out of Louisville.
At 35, okay.
35. If the talent is there, you don't have to rush him in. To your point, he's a project guy. He's catch the ball and make a big play type of guy. If it wasn't for the ACL, most would consider him sneaking into the first round. This could be a value steal, although Titans fans, of course, I'm sure, don't want to deal with it drafting an injured player again. But he fits the bill to me. And my last one is center, Jake Slaughter, Florida. Big body, great movement. Good anchor, has the ability to move left to right very well. He can get to the second level good. He can snap and pull as well. Florida's offense is more of an tight outside zone gap scheme. He fits the mold of that. The strength is there, the hands is there, and the time on task as well is there for him as well. So getting him out of Florida as a 5th-year senior would be absolutely good to me. It almost stand at 6'5" as well. Big up front.
I like it. I like it a lot. Jake Slaughter is a starting center option. I imagine puts Jackson Slater at right guard.
Yeah.
And has Slaughter battling with Austin Schlottman to be that starting position, but I don't hate it at all.
Ran a 5'1" 40 at his size to it. 6'4", what is he, 303?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'll take him.
My Plan B is David Bailey at 4 as well. I think for the Titans, that's their Plan A. Peter Schrager apparently just went on Get Up and said there is still belief around league circles that he could still go to the Jets, and there's not a lot getting out of the Jets building. Vegas disagrees with that. Vegas has got Arvell Reese as a heavy favorite to go 2nd overall to the New York Jets at this point. But at the same time, last week, David Bailey was a pretty heavy favorite to go number 2 to the New York Jets. So we'll see. My second option, 2nd-round pick is Denzel Boston. Either way, I think you're maybe going the opposite of what you find in the first round. David Boston at 6'3", 212, 32-inch arms, 4.28 short shuttle. He didn't run the 40. Trevor Sikkema says he's got 80th percentile success rate against press coverage. Better versus man than zone. 2-year starter at Washington. He has got a vice grip. He has got just steel traps for hands. 3.1% drop rate for Denzel Boston. 79% of his catches in 2025 resulted in either a first down or a touchdown. 14 of his 20 touchdown catches came in the red zone. 72.5% success rate versus man coverage puts him in the same family as Drake London and Tet McMillan when they were coming out of college at 73 and 70%. That's from Matt Harmon of Reception Perception. Dane Brugler says he will have trouble separating against man coverage. He's not someone that's going to run past you, but he will jump over you. And if you just put the ball in his force field, he's going to catch it.
Yeah.
Not as dynamic with the ball in his hands. Played with a lot of talent. He's played with Roma Dunze, Jalen McMillan, and Jeremy Bernard, Jalen Polk as well. But led Washington in receiving in both 24 and 2025 after Kalen DeBoer left to head to Alabama. I like Denzel Boston a lot. I think he fits perfectly what the Titans are looking for in a big, physical, boundary target receiver that can just post up in the low block and win battles one-on-one.
For sure. That guy isn't on the roster right now.
He's not.
He's not. I actually like that idea right there.
So Denzel Boston at 35, I think probably my most realistic pick of any of these, yet still a little bit of a dream, a little bit overly optimistic, but possible.
Yeah.
And at 66, I've talked a lot about this guy, but it's Kyle Lewis, the linebacker from Pittsburgh.
Pitt, yep.
Number 72 in the consensus big board, a third-round grade from Dane Brugler. He's the number 7 beast linebacker. 5'11", 220, 4'5", 340. Has played star linebacker to the field side of Randy Bates's 4-3 scheme at Pitt. 158, 10-yard split. He's an explosive athlete. Under 7 seconds in the 3-cone drill. 39.5-inch vertical. He is a high school safety who transitioned to linebacker, but his role was more of a nickel position, prioritizing the run and covering ground versus the pass. And he is so productive when you look at the stat sheet. 4 interceptions in 2024, 2 in 2025, 15.5 tackles for loss in 2024, combined for 182 tackles, 50 pressures, 24 TFLs, 10 sacks, 12 passes defended, 6 INTs, 2 forced fumbles over his final 2 college seasons. Pat Narduzzi has spoken of him and said, nobody in my 10 years at Pitt watched as much tape as Kyle Lewis. He is not a traditional linebacker. He is a hybrid between a linebacker and a safety, and I think that's exactly what the Titans are looking for in their third linebacker in a hybrid big nickel safety who's going to start as a very impactful player on third downs in the slot and can project long-term as a player that plays next to a thumper, potentially at inside linebacker as well. This is a guy you move all around the defense, so I think fits exactly what Robert Saleh wants.
Got high flexibility, too. His accolades out of college are very elite, too. A first-team All-American, second-team All-American his senior year. Or second-team All-SEC. Had a little bit of a dip in production, but legitimately, nobody had a better junior year than him at off-ball linebacker. Elite, Will. And I always give Pitt defenses a kudos. They almost get an automatic pass with me if there's a guy that's coming out of Pitt that we are high on. They pretty much get a pass to me. Cavassier Dennis last year was
Servassier Dennis in Tampa.
He's another one of those guys that fit the bill exactly as this.
He's 22, a little bit older, won't be a fit for every scheme. I do believe he is a fit in this scheme.
You know what I appreciate about him? At his size and stature, just at 6 foot, he's going the extra mile to figure out how he can get the winning edge in almost anything. You know what I'm saying? He's watched the most amount of film. Lets you know he's trying to minimize his deficiencies.
Quickly, we go back to the phones. Bam in Nashville wants to talk about Nashville's Super Bowl artist. We don't have a ton of time here, Bam, but what you got for us?
What up, Bam?
You cannot say Super Bowl and not mention Nashville and not even think Jelly Roll would not have a chance at it.
That would surprise me.
That would surprise me a little bit, too. He needs another big album, the same as the last one. Bam. I don't know if the set list.
He does have 3-4 years, but my man's been on WWE. He is making his rounds everywhere. So, I mean, it wouldn't shock me if they, especially with it being here as well. You know what I'm saying?
I think he get an appearance. I don't know if he get a whole set list.
Right. Yes. He'd definitely be in the conversation for an appearance, you know what I'm saying?
Sure.
But Nashville would just be crazy that week. Fans would be working every day that week, so, it's definitely going to be a good time.
Yeah, you can pay your mortgage that week, man. I'm telling you.
Man, I'm paying my mortgage for the year on that week.
Thank you, Ben. Appreciate the call. All the love and respect of the world for Jelly. Great dude. It takes a transcendent level of popularity for a musician to get that spot. And, Jelly's on his way. He is
Country's on his way back
exploded.
up. Yeah.
Absolutely. I wish Jelly all the best. I know he's a big Titans fan, obviously, and I'll support anybody from the city like that who's made it. He's certainly made it. Love everything he stands for. Coming up, Peter Schrager dropping a little nugget yesterday on his podcast, coming off a prediction he made about the Titans draft after this.
8:03, good morning, live from Circus Sports, the Mint Kentucky Downs studio. I'm Justin Hawkins. Tom Pelissero reported yesterday that Tennessee cornerback Jeremiah McCoy's draft stock could be one of the biggest storylines coming up this weekend, as doctors are now concerned McCoy might need another knee surgery. The ACL is reportedly intact, but may need to repair a bone plug that was used to repair a cartilage defect in his knee. Also in NFL news, for Nashville, Dan Patrick reported on his show yesterday that per his source, Nashville will host Super Bowl 30, saying, quote, "It is signed and ready to go. The new Nissan Stadium is set to be opened in 2027. Some NBA news yesterday. San Antonio Spurs center Victor Wembanyama was announced on Monday as the first unanimous NBA Defensive Player of the Year in NBA history. Wembanyama is also the youngest to win the award at age 22, while securing 3.1 blocks, 11.5 rebounds, and 1 steal per game in 64 games played this season. In the NBA playoffs last night, the Knicks blew a 12-point fourth-quarter lead to the Atlanta Hawks and lost 107-106. Guard C.J. McCollum led the way for the Hawks with 32 points, and that series is now tied at a game apiece. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, you got to go to USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Draft week continues on Ramon and Will. People are talking, rumors are circulating, and smoke screens are being thrown. Hour number 3 off and running here on your Tuesday morning. 615-737-1045 is our number. He is Ramon Foster. I am Will Bowling. Coming up in 15 minutes, we'll be joined by Austin Price of VolQuest for his weekly visits. Brandon Gaudin of the Atlanta Braves is going to join us at 9:20 as well. Talk a little baseball, a little Major League Baseball. And in 1 hour, we've got Braves tickets to give away. 4 Braves tickets to a game of your choice. How about that?
That's tough.
Lots to choose from for the best team in baseball right now.
And they host well down there in the Battery in Atlanta, man. I enjoyed it. If you got a weekend getaway, which you could by winning these 4 tickets, that is a nice little trip, man. And just the entertainment like the section that they have down there is one of the best that I've seen when it comes to going to a game, being outside of the game, just the people that's around. It's a real good time. So I'm looking forward to our conversation. Also, who wins these tickets? A set of 4 is what's being given away as well.
That's right.
Plus parking.
Plus parking?
That's always a huge thing for me.
And a game of your choice?
Yeah.
You can go down to Atlanta and hate on the Mets.
6 games.
It's true.
Savage.
I said that for Zach in the back right there. Hawk, you got a baseball team?
The Braves.
Braves? Okay.
Bravos.
Most people in the South are.
Yeah.
In the Southeast for the most part.
Looking forward to it.
Yeah. You going to try to win the tickets or you going? No, you're going to be too busy. You ain't got much time.
Well, problem, I'd have to time it up because there's a delay when we give the number. So if I called in as soon as we gave the number, I'd be caller 1.
You'd be caller 1. So that's right.
I have to get my people to work on that for me. Yeah.
Let's see if we can talk to somebody downstairs. Get you some free tickets anyway.
Interesting. Very interesting.
Maybe we can work out something.
Maybe. Just maybe.
Maybe there's 4 people in this room right now.
2 in this room, 2 in that room.
Okay. Technicals. But there's 4 people.
No, you're on my bad side today.
Exactly.
You didn't like Dolly Parton.
We can play Dolly the whole way down.
On my bad side.
I was trying to figure out why we were listening to him anyway. As flagrant as he was with whatever that announcement about
me.
not
everybody
liking
love
Dolly.
everybody.
Yeah.
I see. I got you now. You
did give me
ELEHLDD. Everybody love everybody who loves Dolly.
Exactly.
I love the person.
Exactly. You love the person. You get everything that comes with the person. The music is a part of. Like, I know Whitney Houston did a better "I Will Always Love You" than she did. But she wrote it.
All right.
She did. Whitney Houston
is that a
killed it.
foregone conclusion?
Yeah.
Is that a fact?
Whitney crushed it. And Dolly's appreciative of it because she still gets paid for it.
What I learned in church, you hate the sin, love the sinner. I love you, Justin, but I hate your sin of hating Dolly Parton. That's biblical.
Savage just texted me.
I'll accept.
This morning, speaking of just dealing with stuff. Yeah, he's got to go do this hair treatment thing. And he announced it on that show, so that's the only reason I'm bringing it up. It's not like it's private. He said he's going to go to work as well today. But he's getting this hair treatment situation. Did you hear it on their show how long it is?
No.
6 to 7 hours long.
Oh, wow. You just sitting?
Yeah.
Can you read something?
I don't know if he's going to sleep or
that's a long time to go to sleep.
That's a long time to have somebody messing around with your head, Savage. I know you keep saying you're trying to close the sunroof, but at what cost?
I mean, you could fly to Turkey in probably that time.
Have you seen those videos of those dudes doing it?
Yeah, it's crazy.
Their heads get so swollen.
Yeah, I don't like it.
Savage, don't come out here looking like Martin and he got beat up by Tommy Hearns, man. Like with the knotted up head. I will joke you. I love you, but I will joke you still, okay? If he's coming out like that. But he's trying to close the sunroof for the summer.
If Ron Slay trusts someone to do that for him, then I trust them as well. I trust Slay's judgment.
What's up with you and this blind faith this morning?
What do you mean?
If Savage agrees with it.
Who else am I putting blind faith in? I'm putting faith in my very good friend, my close personal friend, Ron.
This is true.
I use his given Christian name, Ron.
That's what I hear. Like the fact that you call him Ron.
Count on one hand the amount of times I've called that guy Ron.
It doesn't seem right.
Hey, Ron.
Hey, Ron. It's Lil Ron is who he is.
I did see a 3HL guy to go out to Nashville Golf yesterday and promo the 104.5 The Zone Golf Classic. I would hate to be invited to play a round of golf to promote the 104.5 The Zone Golf Classic. Why is 3HL the only show that gets to do these fun things?
Rich, we could do this as well.
This is an easy way to get us out of the studio because it's hard for us to get out. Because we're here in mornings and, there's establishments that got to open up early and we understand and empathize with that. But this is our own station, not even inviting us to
They went during our showtime.
It's crazy.
That's what's wild about it.
Diabolical is what that
And
is.
I heard Bab said she pushed it back an hour, which lets me know they went out at 8.
See, there you go.
Okay, and they started at 9, okay?
I guarantee you, I play more rounds of golf than everyone else in the station combined, which I promise you says way more about my addiction than it does anyone else.
Combined, we do, okay? And I'm only using your hours of golfing time.
I don't know what the heck we got to do to just go out there and be in front of a camera one time.
I want to learn, imagine on a random Monday or Tuesday, I'm learning how to golf even better. I've done scrambles before. Like the fact that I don't get invited by Rich and our promotion teams downstairs, well, it kind of hurts me a little bit. I'm trying to get a membership to Bluegrass in Hendersonville, okay? And listen, I want to grow in the golf game. I'm learning these things, okay? And Rich won't even invite us out. And we got time. This is the most amount of time we've had in the year, Will. And we get no invite.
Yeah.
Rich, I'm a little
clubs
upset.
too.
I got clubs at home.
We all got clubs.
I got clubs at home. I don't know how to use them, but I'll learn to if I get an invite. Don't even get an invite, Will. Mid-morning golf, it sounds amazing. No. Mid-morning tea time. See how I did that?
That's well done.
I'm speaking golf this morning.
That's really well done.
I'm speaking golf.
You're speaking golf. I love it. Taylor Zarja today calling the SEC Women's Golf Championship.
What doesn't Taylor do?
Tennessee versus Auburn.
Man, is
Lady
it really?
Vols Golf at the SEC title today.
Or hard in golf, too.
Starts in 49 minutes on the SEC Network.
Let's go. Shout out.
Hand up. I made a mistake. I misread a text that I had exchanged with Austin yesterday. He will join us tomorrow. He's not available today. This one's my fault. I misread a text that he sent me. Yeah, that's on me. That's on me. We will have him on, though. So that gives us plenty more time to talk about what Peter Schrager said. Because that's the news of the day. See, Ramon would be even more relaxed and calm to hear news like this if we'd been invited to go have a day golfing yesterday.
I would have. If I'd have worn off some of this hatred this morning.
It's my fault.
Then I would have. No, don't fall on the sword.
No, I'm telling you, it's my fault. It's my bad. I'll tell you later in the break.
I'd have the ability to get rid of some of this anger if I had got an invite to golf. And by the way, real quick, too, shout out to my Sumner County Y, man. It is official. I absolutely love going there, too.
You committed?
I am committed.
You pick up a YMCA hat?
I will. I'll get a lanyard and everything.
Oh, okay, cool.
I usually pick up one of the little scriptures when you're leaving out of there as well, too.
Hallelujah.
What they got is a steam room and the sauna. I absolutely love. Are you a sauna steam room guy, Will?
I'm becoming more of one, yes.
Yes.
I didn't used to be. This is something that I've started doing a little bit more in the last year because I have access to one now.
No doubt.
I do like it.
I love it.
I can't stay in there long, but I do like it.
Listen, I'll live in there if I could, getting some of those bad toxins out. As long as I can rehydrate, I'm good to go.
Okay.
As long as I can rehydrate, I'm good to go. But I'd love to get a golf invite, though, Will.
That'd be great.
It would be great, Rich.
Be really cool.
And I'm calling them out by first name, too. Ferris.
That's the last name, too. Coming up, major NFL insider is changing a prediction he made about the Titans draft. What do we think? What does it mean? You'll hear it coming up next. If you're looking to buy or sell the Nashville real estate market, I'm here to tell you that the person you can trust is Bernie Gallerani of Bernie Gallerani Real Estate. Finding that right home can be a big challenge. And sometimes because of work or because of the timeline of when you've sold your home, you've got to move fast to find that perfect place. Bernie is connected within Middle Tennessee, and he is going to make the process easy for you because Bernie is the real estate agent in Nashville with a 30-day guarantee. Bernie Gallerani guarantees to sell your home in 30 days or less, or he'll buy it. There's no risk to you. Bernie will let you out of the contract at any time because he is the real estate agent with the 30-day guarantee. If not, he'll just buy it from you. Use that peace of mind to your advantage by calling Bernie at 615-428-2644. You can go online to BernieGallerani.com. If you need to relocate quickly for work because of something out of your control, this is perfect for you. Trust Bernie Gallerani to make sure you get the very best price for your home by giving him a call. 615-428-2644 or online at BernieGallerani.com. Ramon and Will on 104.5 The Zone as Hour 3 rolls on. We've got 4 Bravos tickets to head down to Truist Park to give away coming up at 9 o'clock with parking. Not just Truist Park, but parking.
And that's crucial over there.
At Truist Park. Yes, it is.
Because the Army only got so much parking that you're available to have. Or spend hours trying to get out of a parking garage. There's one thing I hate about sporting events. It's the parking garage parking. It's the absolute worst. Catch an Uber.
Peter Schrager on the Schrager Hour podcast with some interesting comments on the Tennessee Titans. He no longer believes that Jeremiyah Love will be a Titan. Here is the ESPN NFL insider Peter Schrager.
Well, I know I spoke with someone in the organization in Tennessee, and they told me this morning that they have seen 6 different players tagged to them this morning for their 4th overall pick by people in the media. 6. There's the 4th overall pick, and 6 different players have been tagged to them. I will say this. I don't think the Titans are taking Jeremiyah Love anymore. I am moving off of that. That was something I had in my mock draft and felt like that was the pick. As we are now 4 days before it, I do not think the Titans are taking Jeremiyah Love at 4. I think the Titans are taking either one of the 2 following players. Sonny Styles, the linebacker out of Ohio State, or the Bailey Reese, who doesn't go there or is available. And then my third backstop would be Carnell Tate. Yeah, Carnell Tate could go as high as 4.
Do you believe him, Ramon?
I believe his intel. Believing him is a totally different conversation.
You believe in him, but maybe not the intel that he's been given.
Yeah, pretty much. He's spewing out the information he's got. Like you said, the 6 prospects in this draft that he said the Titans fans or the Titans front office feel like they've heard. Definitely not Fernando Mendoza. The 6 would be Arvell Reese, Jeremiyah Love, Sonny Styles, Caleb Downs, David Bailey, and Carnell. Those would be the 6 guys.
Sure.
In my personal opinion. And I think either one of those guys could satisfy it, other than probably Carnell Tate. Just looking at what will be available to you. David Bailey being there absolutely makes sense to him. I wonder what's the other side of the conversation that Peter's had, if this is how we feel about taking Jeremiyah Love out of his top 4 pick for the Titans. Is he, whatever his intel is, either from the Arizona Cardinals or the Titans, which one of them believe or have given him the information that they are taking Jeremiyah Love, meaning the Arizona Cardinals, or the Titans believe that Arizona's fully sold on the idea of having Jeremiyah Love? That's the only reason I see for him to take Jeremiyah Love out of his top 4 or out of his mock draft, because that's been the direction that he's gone in. Because can you put David Bailey as far as overall talent above Jeremiyah Love? Some would say no, presented at what's available to you.
It just feels like even more motivation from Arizona for someone to move up. This is the way you would achieve that if you were the Arizona Cardinals. We know right now that there are teams sitting at the back of the top 10 or the start of the teens who are defense needy. One of them is so defense needy, it just decided to trade the number 10 pick in order to get a guaranteed defensive starter in Dexter Lawrence. That's the Cincinnati Bengals.
Yeah.
They felt like they were in no man's land and had to go trade their draft capital for defense because there will be so many defensive players to go in the top 10 of this thing. And if Reuben Bain Jr. is off your board for measurables or off-field or whatever reason, that's another defensive player that's not able for you to be picked when you are a team like the Dallas Cowboys sitting at 12-20 who needs defense and is sitting there saying, oh, crap. I think the Washington Commanders are another one at 7, who are not going to give you a substantial amount of draft capital to only go up 4 spots to Arizona, 3 spots to Tennessee, but are allowing you to accumulate more picks and get more. Heck, the New York Giants. Is that a team that wants to get ahead of the Titans if they're motivated enough to believe in what Arizona, I think, is telling people? So I think that's scenario number 1. Arizona wants to move back so badly. They know that there is a shortage on defensive players for defense-needy teams, and that's how they achieve that. Hey, Titans aren't taking Love, but they love Styles. You want Styles? Oh, come up, make a deal with us.
Giants, yeah.
You want David Bailey? Oh, no, they're not going to take Love over Bailey. Come up and get him. You want David Bailey? We'd love for you to have David Bailey in New York blue. And those two Commanders jerseys, oh, man, imagine what David Bailey would look like in that. Hey, Jerry, we'll even throw in some Whataburger coupons. We'll throw in some gift cards if you just come up with us. I think that's the kind of stuff that Arizona's doing because I think Arizona is desperate to move back.
Where's Arizona as far as 2026 is concerned for you? I guess is the question. Like, you don't want to be obvious when it comes down to your plans to bail out on this year, to be the number 1 overall pick next year. They do have a good, just, I guess, cluster of talent on that team.
They have some decent weapons.
They do have
Marvin
some
Harrison
decent
Jr.,
weapons.
Michael Wilson, James Conner, Tyler Algier.
Yep.
Paris Johnson is a solid left tackle.
He is, and they need a right tackle.
They need a right tackle,
They
and they
do.
need a quarterback.
And it would satisfy them to be able to move back and accumulate more capital for next year too.
Mm-hmm.
That to me is I feel like we've talked way more about next year's draft in the current draft class than we ever have before. Like to somebody would do a mock right now, and that's to me I guess the hidden figure in all of this is who's planning for next year. And Arizona seems to be a team that really is at this point. Them, we mentioned, of course, the Jets.
I don't know. Cardinals, I think, are a little different from Jets and Dolphins.
You think they're competitive coming out the West? Because
I'm not saying that.
Okay.
But I do think they have a better group of talent. And they lost a lot of one-score games last year.
I give you that. And had quarterback issues the entire time.
Including one of the Titans.
And they have, yes, that was just a dumb loss.
I think the general manager in Arizona, Monty Ossenfort, is a bit more motivated to win in 2026 because he's probably not going to have a job if they don't. Under first-year head coach Mike LaFleur. I think that's a different situation than John Eric Sullivan, a new GM in Miami, and a largely new project in New York, although the sense of urgency is pretty similar there, too.
But here's the thing, too, getting back to the Peter Schrager conversation. He's been in love with Jeremiyah Love this entire time, and the Jeremiyah Love conversation to the Tennessee Titans as well. This, again, to get down to the crux of it, for me, this seems like he's blowing smoke more than giving an answer to it because he's giving a two-sided answer as well. And if you dive deeper into the head coach, looking at, of course, Brian Daboll playing a part in this as well. Is he saying that head coach Robert Saleh gets his guy and Brian Daboll has to wait and work with what he has inside of the building too?
That's an easy story to tell for whoever's telling it.
It is.
To say that, hey, Robert Saleh is going to want his defensive guy. Whether that's the Cardinals telling it to lead teams to trade up in front of the Titans from taking a defensive player, or whether that's the Titans telling it to motivate someone to move up to 3. That way Jeremiyah Love falls to 4. Because right now it appears that if the Cardinals stick and pick, they're going Jeremiah. Or are they trying to get the Titans to make a deal with him?
You know, the only
move back one spot.
The only way we'll see this is if Jeremiyah Love is available and David Bailey is at the same time. That's the only way we'll get this answer right there on who the Titans actually want or one of these premier rushers. Because the way it's been reported up to now, I do think the Titans front office will take Jeremiyah Love over Sonny Styles if we're looking at a 1-to-1 comparison. The way,
I do too.
Yeah, I see them taking if both of those are presented. Now,
me too.
You add, of course, David Bailey in the conversations versus Jeremiyah Love. We're talking about a totally different situation. We're talking about a premium position of an edge rusher. And this team, just looking at the makeup of it right now, doesn't have a premier edge rusher. They got good rushers.
They have guys.
They have guys that can get the job done.
On the edge. They have a premier pass rusher in the middle.
But usually you don't rely on that guy, though. Right. You want him plus another guy. What we're saying is you want Jeffrey Simmons plus an elite rusher, right? Mm-hmm. Or you want two bookends the way Houston have.
That's true.
You want those scenarios, not necessarily just one guy up the middle, because more times than not, offensively, you can control a defensive tackle as far as this rush game goes, unless they're having a good job. They're doing a good job of getting ahead of the sticks, or you embarrass them the way he did Houston last year. I still can't get over that one. That guy just did not block Jeffrey on that particular play, and Jeff got a sack on it.
No, that's true.
Brain farts, they happen.
There is just so much to figure out here in terms of who's going where, what's real, and what isn't. Right now at FanDuel Sportsbook, Jeremiyah Love is still the odds-on favorite to be the number 4 overall pick. That is no longer minus money. That's plus 115 now. for Love to go 4. David Bailey plus 410, second most popular pick there, and Sonny Styles, not most popular, but best odds, shortest odds to go 4 overall.
Real quick, I just asked our YouTube chat, but do you believe Peter much at all?
I believe in the intel that he is being given is intel from reputable people. I just don't know if that intel is real. I'm in the same boat as you.
Yeah, that's as far as I'll go.
Doesn't this just feel like a smoke screen off between the two teams?
It's been
maybe
between
not.
the two teams?
Yeah, between Arizona and Tennessee.
Could be.
Like for Tennessee to say, no, we don't want Love because we'll just take Bailey at 4 because somebody will trade up and take Love. Or Arizona's going to take up. That's fine. We'll take Bailey at 4. Or somebody trades up to get the defensive guy. I will just take Love at 4. And then Arizona's just like, well, we just want to get trade back. We want Love, so Tennessee can't have it. It feels like both teams are going back to back. It also doesn't seem quite a coincidence that the Arizona stuff just came out yesterday, and now the Tennessee stuff's coming out today. Like, it's not that much of a coincidence. Can't be, right?
Yeah.
Like, what Schrager's saying could be 100% legit, but he doesn't know the full intel. He just knows what he hears.
There are reasonable stories that are being told on the why, though.
It is. And he explains it further.
Yeah. Like the McShay part of it, kind of maybe alluding to there being a voice in the building who wants Jeremiyah Love. And alluding to that being Michael Bidwill, the owner.
Yeah.
To the suggestion that Robert Saleh loves Sonny Styles because he's similar to Fred Warner. Like, that's a story I can believe.
It's real.
That's a story that makes sense.
Yep.
In the same way that the LA Chargers a couple years ago were telling a story. Hey, John Harbaugh wants his right tackle in Joe Alt. And we may have bigger needs on the board. We may need Malik Neighbors. We may need the bigger target for our young quarterback. But the best thing you can do for a young quarterback is give him a protection and a run game. And we're going to draft a right tackle in the top 5. And then what did they do? They drafted a right tackle in the top 5. That wasn't a smokescreen.
No, it wasn't.
Sometimes these things are just what's about to happen. And sometimes they're not. And that's why the NFL draft is so fun.
Somebody asked a question, Kyle, in the YouTube chat. So he said, you're going to be happy with Styles, ?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would be.
Here's the thing. If you're faced with, because we don't know what the Jets are going to do it too. It's been slated that Arvell Reese is going to be the guy too because they canceled the David Bailey visit. But here's the thing about them canceling that visit. That probably also is a smokescreen because they know everything they need to know about David Bailey. Why bring him in and waste his time when you know he's going to be your guy and you'll just see him on draft night regardless?
Sure.
Or you've done all your research. The other part is that is a team that, based upon how we look at it, Aaron Glenn, they may be drafting over him because his team needs immediate help at edge rusher. It's obvious. And David Bailey is the more polished, ready-to-go guy as opposed to a weapon in Arvell Reese, in which, from my understanding, I'm not sure if they've been in a position where they've handled coaching a weapon, Aaron Glenn and his staff. When you look at Detroit didn't have a weapon like that as far as where Aaron Glenn comes from. That Aiden Hutchinson, who's a very dynamic pass rusher, but handling a weapon, I think he's smart enough to do it.
Yeah,
is
for
what
sure.
I would say. But you got a direct answer in David Bailey. I think that's a smokescreen.
Pure pass rusher.
Exactly. I think what the Jets are doing is a smokescreen, and 3 and 4 are doing the exact same thing through Peter Schrager as well. Because, and get back to the original question, would you be happy with Sonny Styles? The answer is yes. I think all of this fan base, although you would lose your favorite, some will lose their favorite in Jeremiyah Love not being there. Some will lose their favorite in David Bailey not being there. And the same could be said about Sonny Styles or Arvell Reese as well. But if you get either one of them, I don't think within the top 5, you're upset with your draft selection. The biggest upset in the top 5 could be Fernando Mendoza, to be quite honest with you. Quarterbacks are hard to make successful sometimes in a position where she's going to a very bad team.
Brian asks on YouTube, who on this offense scares you? When you're planning, who do you look at and say, this is the dog? It's supposed to be Cam Ward.
It's supposed to be Cam. Cam can't do it solo, though.
Right.
We saw what that scariness looked like last year.
First and foremost, it's Cam Ward.
It's Cam.
Secondly, it's Wan'Dale Robinson.
Yep.
That's the guy you're game planning for right now at the top of the whiteboard.
I think you look at Calvin after that. You have to, just because of
you
reputation.
look at him, but I'm not sure he scares you respectfully based on what he's put on the field the last 12 months.
The one guy that could scare you because of what he could do, but he never reaches that point, or he hadn't yet, is Tajay Spears. if he'd ever hit his potential for what we think he could have been.
It's why I think that player has still remained to be put on this team. And again, like if you don't feel like you really believe in this crop of receivers or the free agents out there, that's probably second or third on the list of priorities. Get guys that scare you on defense, that allow your offensive players to play at a lower standard.
That's what I was just going to say.
Like, good defensive players still also help Cam Ward.
Yes, they do.
They do.
And so how much of that are we going to read into? Look at the defensive head coaches around the league. The most eccentric one might be Coach McDonald in Seattle, but look at who his quarterback is. Right, and that was a very high-powered offense that was supported by a dangerous defense. Mm-hmm. Most of them are very much, Will, to your point, and I was going to bring this up, like being under Mike Tomlin for 11 years, as strong as we were at times offensively, he never let us forget defense is how we went around here.
Sure.
And most defensive-minded head coaches believe in just being slightly conservative and being aggressive as heck when it comes down to their defenses.
Mm-hmm. The word from Todd McShay on Love is that if the Cardinals stick and pick with 3, he says, quote, I believe they'll grab Jeremiyah Love. I've been saying for weeks that there's a powerful voice inside that building pushing for Love. What I didn't realize was just how much influence that voice had, he says. He is still saying that if Love doesn't go 3 and the Titans pick at 4, that Jeremiyah Love is the pick if David Bailey isn't available. He says, I don't see Jeremiyah Love getting out of the top 5. If Love is gone but Bailey's available, I think Bailey could be the pick at 4. McShay does still say, don't rule out Sonny Styles either. There are some people at the Titans organization who see Styles playing the Fred Warner role in that scheme. Again, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to learn that's probably Robert Saleh.
That's probably Saleh.
I think that's a fair connection to make between dots that, yeah, if I'm Robert Saleh, I too would probably see Sonny Styles as being my Fred Warner.
Yeah.
The good news for you, if you are a diehard in draft conversation or just now tuning back into it, is I don't think there's a really bad option. If we're listing from 1 to 6, all of our options, I could talk myself into Carnell Tate, and I could care less what he ran in the 40. Watch the games. That's a vertical threat.
Yeah.
I could care less about the question mark next to what position Arvell Reese plays. Look at the athlete. Look at the explosiveness. Look at what he could become, and watch Micah Parsons. David Bailey, best pure pass rusher in this class. I don't need to talk you into that one. Jeremiyah Love, I don't feel like I need to talk you into either, because most of you are in the Jeremiyah Love camp, and I have been for better part of a month now as well, on the help that he gives your quarterback and the dynamics he brings you in the pass game. And Sonny Styles, again, you've seen the proof of concept and what Fred Warner looks like in the 49ers defense. Just put Titan blue on him.
Yeah.
And that's Sonny Styles for the next 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years. Not without out of the realm of possibilities. The good news for you as Titans fans is you've got great choices. And you also, Ramon, have a trade that could happen. Connor Orr at SI.com has written about a trade from the Rams to move up with the Titans, where the Rams would select Jeremiyah Love. I'll give you the haul. I'm curious if you'd take this trade. Coming up next.
It's Ramon Foster for Medical House Calls, where it's healthcare designed for your life. And they do mean that. It's available to you 7 days a week from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. So, yes, before work or even well after work, you can get a doctor over to, honestly, wherever you are. I had them come over to my house, and they were very thorough, very professional, and good at what they do, man. You can get same-day appointments or next-day guaranteed. But everything from your primary care to urgent care, IV therapy, and even medical weight loss. And here's the thing about it. They want to bring back the concierge to medicine, where you have somebody show up to your house, like the old medical house calls used to be. Somebody show up to you wherever you are, whichever mid-state city that you're in, to service you. If you're feeling a little bit under the weather, they got something for you with their IV therapy. If you just need your labs taken, a blood drawn, they can do that for you as well. Everything from sicknesses, infections, injuries, in-home labs, testing, and so much more. For a flat fee, you can get an evaluation, full exam, and prescriptions if you need it. Again, the website is medicalhousecalls.com. And make sure you tell them that Ramon sent you.
Ramon Will on 104.5 The Zone. Wrap it up. Hour number 3. Justin, you're saying we need some peace? What do you mean?
Ramon was just telling me that this draft process is very confusing and frustrating. So you know what? We need some peace. Let's get some pursuit of happiness in here.
Peace and happiness,
Peace for what?
Justin says.
That was a little
You were
Al
telling me
Green
that
this
this
Cool
is
in the gang.
cool in the game.
You were telling me earlier, just before we went to break, that this draft process is a little bit frustrating.
It is very much so.
So you know what? We need some peace.
I don't know if I've seen one this frustrating when it comes down to the amount of information. I told Will once we went off the air right there, like, this is getting frustrating now. I like it because, again, we're not talking about one sole topic today, and everybody's going to be upset that their guy's not picked because everybody's had, about 2-3 weeks of whatever mock that they've had of this is the guy that the Titans are going to get, or whoever your team is for that matter.
Yeah.
At least the joy you can find you're going to get a really good player at number 4, and you can find peace in that.
What about at 13?
Well, then let's see what we can get for 13, right?
Connor Orr at SI.com writes in his mock draft that he has the Titans making a trade with the Los Angeles Rams, who would move up to select Jeremiyah Love. Would you take the following trade deal, Ramon? Rams receive 4 and 101. Titans receive 13, 61, 93, and a 2027 first-round pick.
Hold up.
Sold.
But
Where
it's
do I
their
sign?
first-round pick.
Where do I? Yeah.
It's probably going to be late.
Where do I sign? I don't care. Why would then trade up if you want Jeremiah Smith?
This is true.
Take whatever you have and whatever they have. And if you have strong convictions about a player, now you get to go choose who you get. You are less subject to the process.
You are.
I want 2 1s. This roster needs players. Let's go.
Titans get 13.
13, 61, 93,
Dang.
2027 first round pick, and they give up 4 and 101.
Oof. I'm probably sold. I'm sold on that one.
And you know who the Titans would take at 13 in this mock draft?
Ruben Bain.
Mekhi Lemon,
Yeah.
wide receiver from the University of Southern California.
I'm sold. Yeah. I'm sold on that one. That makes sense to me. You soften the blow of taking the top 5 guy. You
Deal.
get a crap ton more of capital. So you still got 13, 35, 61, 93, and a first of next year.
Sure do.
Hell yeah. I mean, I don't want to say it's almost a no-brainer, but letting them also take Jeremiyah Love sets them up for success in one of the best ways I think we've seen it. But that's a hard haul not to give up, though. Is this from Connor Orr, you said?
Connor Orr of SI.com.
This is a projection of his? Or scenario?
I don't know
I'll
the context
take
you
it.
put
Either
around
way.
it. I think it's just, let's see. He said, in short, 6 teams have a majority of capital in this draft. He says, I think a lot of teams feel the way the Bengals do about the actual layout of talent. It's not great. This mock reflects some trade action inside the top 5 to scoop up the, quote, premium options of the board. He also has Dallas moving up to 3.
Why wouldn't you take this deal if you're a Titans fan?
If you
I
have
hadn't
strong
even-
convictions about Love enough to say it's going to take more than that, maybe. But I think 2 1s, a 2 and a 3 for year 1 and year 4. Sign me up. Sign me up.
This is just a day-to-day moving of the needle with this draft thing. V-Man, Vanny Man says, no, I won't Love. I'm telling you. 4th overall pick. Right
2
there.
1s, a 2 and a 3.
2 1s, a 2 and a 3.
It could also depend on how you view the first-round draft picks. They've been talking about how the top 12 are the quote-unquote first-rounders, and the rest are you just have to pick in the first round. So if you don't view the 13th pick as a first-round prospect, maybe you don't take it there.
In this scenario, though, if I get 13, I'm taking Jordan Tyson. I'm not taking Mekhi Lemon.
So this trade right here is presented to us by Connor Orr.
Yep.
From the Rams. This, to me, is where I feel like this team needs to be operating. The conversation we kind of had earlier. Like,
Go get more.
Yeah. We're focused so much on this top 5 pick or the years to come. Like, if you can tell me that you can build up a team in a cheap way with young talent that you feel like is going to be over and above, that's also this part, too, Will, sustainable. That's why, like, we're having a conversation. Hopefully get an opportunity to talk to Mike Borgonzi about it. How do you, as a GM, set up a team to last? I think we all looked at Chicago's GM a few years back with all the moves that they were making.
Ryan Poles.
And we looked at Ryan's like, you're taking this guy and you're going to get Caleb this year. You're making these moves. And now Chicago looks like a team that's sustainable when it comes down to winning. They
traded out and got more picks.
They did. There's nothing wrong with that. But again, they suffered in the moment with trying to figure out how they were going to be competitive, surround Caleb, and then they also get their coach a year later, but they got their coach though too, right? Like the vision of what Mike Borgonzi and Chad Brinker want to do with this franchise is between them. That's where asking the question of, do you really just want Jeremiyah Love just to fill seats? Or are you trying to build a team for the long haul? Do you think Mike Borgonzi has the grace to build out a team in a long form? It's one thing to get instant gratification. I think Jeremiyah Love does that. I think David Bailey does too. But you have to also consider, how do I keep my job? Like like Howie Roseman, like Kevin Colbert, like the Rams GM. Like, how do I keep it for a long time?
For sustainability. Right.
Because there's so many coaches and GMs that get fired these days. Like, you got to go against the grain and figure out what is actually working.
Mm-hmm. It's true. I mean, the final details of that Bears-Panthers trade for the number 1 overall pick essentially turned into Caleb Williams, Luther Burden, Tyreek Stevenson, Darnell Wright, and punter Torrey Taylor for Bryce Young. Advantage Bears.
Big
time.
And they also found a way to get their coach, which you feel like the Titans have their coach right now in Robert Saleh.
That's right. That's 100% right.
It's not just this year. It's my thing. I think most people look at the Titans and would say, yeah, you're not a Super Bowl contender yet. However the Bengals did it in Joe Burrow's second year, cool for them. However the Patriots did it, and then Vrabel's first year, and Drake May's second, good for them. But that ain't usually the reality. What is that, a 5-year gap between the two situations? It's sustainability for me.
Mekhi Lemon, a 4.5 40 at 5'11", 192, 7th in receiving yards last year at 1,156, 79 catches with 12th best in college football. He is an intermediate target who just doesn't go down. Really good at moving the chains. First in FBS and first down receptions with 50. Best work came out of the slot. 28% of his catches came outside the numbers, though. He is an over the middle of the field mover of the football with it in his hands. Rarely gets tackled. He was the only Big Ten player with more than 500 yards after catch in 2025. Mm-hmm. A bit more of a dynamic playmaker with the ball in his hands. I think his skill set would be a bit too similar to Wan'Dale Robinson for me personally.
Kind of close.
I would prefer Jordan Tyson if given the option between Mekhi Lemon and Jordan Tyson. There's room for Lemon and Robinson, but that's 2 slots right now. So who's moving?
You also get your chance and opportunity. You also give yourself an opportunity to, depending on how the draft falls, to get Cam more protection. Vega Owani is right there as well in that slot.
He goes 10 in Connor Orr's mock.
Okay.
Because if I'm moving back to 13 and Vega Owani is on the board, I'm making everybody mad and taking the guard. I'm serious. I'm dead serious. I'm taking Vega Owani. And we're going to get calls about, this is boring. Good. No, I think Vega Owani is one of the most sure things you could get in this entire draft. Someone's going to end up with Vega Owani, and we're going to be nodding our heads like, dang it.
Yep.
Of course they did.
Of course did.
John Harbaugh gets Vega Owani with 10. That's a surefire, great pick. But then when teams like the Titans do it, it's like, oh, why don't you ever do anything fun, man? That's boring. Now, good teams make boring picks that are high floor picks, and Vega Owani might be the highest floor pick in the entire first round.
My dog, you are preaching right now. I wish I had a couple dollars. I'm out, throw it in the collection plate for you, because that to me is what I mean. Yes, thank you, Hawk. The sustainability of it, Will.
Yeah.
But it's boring here. I don't get it. I do get it because you don't have the stars that you want.
If I'm moving back, I'm trying to get Jordan Tyson. The injury stuff on Tyson's interesting because some guys are just always hurt.
Yeah.
And they always seem to have bad luck. Some guys, though, have had freak, like bone injuries that aren't soft tissue, that they're kind of unfairly knocked on. Like Jordan Tyson, I don't know which is which. Because his injury history Hamstring in October 2025. Okay, that sidelined him for most of the draft process. He missed most of spring practice with an ankle injury. He broke his left collarbone November of 2024. That's not something that I think is a major red flag.
Right.
And he tore his ACL on his left knee in November of 2022, which ended his freshman season at Colorado and sidelined him for 23. Is he Traylon Burks? Or is he Jackson Smith-Njigba? Because JSN came out of college with some injury concerns. Now all of a sudden we're talking about how, like, hey, now he's wearing the right size shoes and he never gets hurt.
Right.
Crazy. Like, we have an NFL plan for him and the soft tissue stuff is out the door. But can collarbone and ACL stuff be like a repeatable predictive injury for you long term? I'm not sure it really is.
Yeah. And then
Combat catcher.
Traylon
Jordan
Burks
Tyson.
never injured. And then gets to the NFL, and that's all he ever had was injuries.
Right. Interesting. Coming up, Dan Patrick dropped a big nugget on the Titans' potential Super Bowl hosting in a year and saying it's signed. He had a lot to say. Plus 4 Braves tickets, plus parking for a game of your choice to give away after this.
9:03, good morning, live from the Circus Sports, the Mid-Kentucky Downs studio. I'm Justin Hawkins. Tom Pelissero reported yesterday that Tennessee cornerback Jeremiah McCoy's draft stock could be one of the biggest storylines this weekend, as doctors are now concerned McCoy might need another knee surgery. The ACL is reportedly intact, but may need to repair a bone plug that was used to repair a cartilage defect in his knee. Also in Nashville news, Dan Patrick reported on his show yesterday that per his source, Nashville will host Super Bowl 30, saying, quote, "It is signed and ready to go. The new Nissan Stadium is set to be open in 2027. NBA news yesterday, San Antonio Spurs center Victor Wembanyama was announced on Monday as the first unanimous NBA Defensive Player of the Year in NBA history. Wembanyama is also the youngest to win the award at age 22. He secured 3.1 blocks, 11.5 rebounds, and 1 steal per game in 64 games played this season. For all you foundation repair and waterproofing needs, you got to go to USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Fourth and final hour of the show here on Ramon and Will. Good morning. Glad you're with us. Coming up here in 15 minutes, voice of the Atlanta Braves on television, Brandon Gaudin, said to join us. Braves vision on your television sets. The Braves, best team in baseball. Talk a little bit with him. Justin, what do I need for this giveaway? I'm seeing nothing.
Caller 5.
Okay.
Wow.
Perfect.
We're doing Caller 5.
Braves game of your choice and parking. Caller number 5, 615-737-1045. You can see the best team in baseball. You can have a place to park. You get to pick the game. 4 tickets to see the Atlanta Braves. 615-737-1045. Caller number 5 right now. We'll get it. Best of luck. That's a hot ticket.
That is a hot ticket.
As the phone lines light up like a Christmas tree.
That's a hot ticket. Way to go, Will. That's your squad as well.
Very much my squad.
If you call now, you'd be number 5.
Why would you say that? Because people are going to hear that in 20 seconds and think that then they can still call in. You're just getting yourself more calls. I'm not the problem here. I'm not the one that can call and try. My goodness. If you're hearing this now, caller 5's already called in, so tickets are already gone.
Hawk with the engagement, baby. That's what I'm talking about.
Justin just stepped on his own toe.
He did.
With that. Dan Patrick says the Super Bowl is signed and ready to go for 2030 in Nashville.
Yeah, baby.
Love it.
Let's go, man.
That's very early for something like that to come out in the process.
It is. But I think everybody around here have been wondering, when is it going to happen? Why isn't it happening as quick as other cities are too? And there's just a lot that has to be done around the riverfront. The demolition of the old stadium as well, like that's going to be a process. I don't know how long it is, but I would guess probably a few months to get all that cleaned up, and then the rebuilding of it's supposed to be like a little greenway over there as well, or some greenery that's got to be built up too. I do wonder what is that entertainment district going to look like when the Super Bowl gets here, because looking at the way the Rams stadium is set up in Inglewood, like Inglewood's already established. There's a lot of stuff that's in and around it. I do wonder. When they they won't be blowing this stadium up. When they take this stadium down, how quickly will they get businesses established over there to make it an entertainment district? Will that be ready by 2030? We'll see.
I don't know.
We'll see.
I got more questions than answers on some of that stuff, and I love the renderings.
Yeah,
I saw the stuff from T-Pack that came out over the weekend of like what the new T-Pack would look like down there. Mm-hmm. I mean, it looks like a whole new city.
Yeah, it does.
Legitimately.
And not just that, I do know, shout out to our guy, Brad Willis, who will have the Tennessee Sports Hall of Fame will be in there too. Like,
that's right.
This stadium is going to be an entertainment district is what it's going to be, not just for football games, but like 365 days out of the year.
In the same way that Germantown was kind of revived and uplifted by now First Horizon Park.
It's going to be pretty cool, though. I'm looking forward to it.
Very excited.
Can I get you a condo over there, too?
Probably not, but it's okay.
I say I want to, but I doubt it.
Yeah, no, I feel like we'll live over there with how many games and things are there and events.
Seriously.
But I don't need to actually live there.
Yeah. Oh, man. But this is exciting. This is one, again, reason we're talking about it. The Super Bowl is probably the biggest event of the year. In
America, it is the biggest event on television for a city. I mean, it's the event.
Yeah.
For sure.
And it's cool, too, looking back at, like, old videos of Nashville. Like, if you look at, like, the 2004 version of Nashville, Tennessee versus now, just totally different metropolis now. Like, it is something to be proud of. And Nashvillians, Middle Tennesseans, heck, for that matter, Tennesseans, you might want to be here for this one.
Jordan Reed at ESPN.com has a 7-round mock draft. David Bailey goes 4 to the Titans in his. Denzel Boston, my dream second-round pick, goes 35. Big physical receiver, he says, who aggressively attacks passes out of the air. Would give Cam Ward another reliable perimeter target. Other options that would be on the board there at 35. Zion Young would go right after Boston. Alabama receiver Jeremy Bernard at 40 goes second round in his mock draft. Keelan Rutledge, the Georgia Tech guard and former MTSU captain, goes 44th overall in the second round. And this one really surprised me. Ted Hurst, the receiver from Georgia State, goes 48th overall.
That's a hell of a draft.
Second round pick, Ted Hurst from Georgia State.
That's a heck of a doggone draft.
Titans would get Caleb Tiernan at 66, a tackle/guard from Northwestern.
Yep.
In this scenario, Chris Bell goes 67.
I like Tiernan too, by the way.
So you would have the ability to go offensive line at 35 and also take Chris Bell at 66, maybe, in Jordan Reed's world. 6'7", 323, 32.25-inch arms, 79.5-inch wingspan. Caleb Tiernan started at right tackle opposite of Peter Skoronski at left tackle as a redshirt freshman. He is Dane Brugler's number 8 tackle prospects. NFL scouts say he went from gentle giant to unquestioned leader of the offensive line room. With an NFL scout telling Dane Brugler of The Athletic, training staff said he's in the building by 5 a.m. and always doing extras. 43 career starts, has never played guard. Ramon, do you see him as a guard or do you see him sticking at right tackle?
I see him sticking at tackle for the most part is how I looked at his tape. Now, here's the other part, too. I viewed these guys exactly as they are slated to. He's a tackle. I viewed him as a tackle, too. But you do see the possibility of him being able to be kicked in as well. Again, college good at tackle is not the same as NFL good at tackle as well. And training camp will show that a little bit for you as well. But he's a type man that he can't get over his skis. He's got to find ways to stay balanced. So every time you see him on film, he's got a heavy demeanor about his feet, and he's always trying to clean somebody up as well. The aggressiveness is there. I said he doesn't have the best footwork, but he's a pure offensive lineman the way I view him. He was built to play it. He looks like it, and he assumes that role. The flexibility of him being able to move inside is totally going to be up to his mindset and how a team looks to draft him. But to your point, he ended up moving over to the left tackle after Peter Skoronski ended up getting drafted by the Titans. So there's familiarity there. If he does come here, not the best Ben, but the effort is always going to be there. So, yeah, he's probably slated to be a guard at some point in time if it doesn't kick off at tackle. But he's played left tackle, and that's where taking Caleb Tiernan plays a point, because at some point you got to think about, do you let your left tackle stay, Dan Moore, or do you start planning for his exit as well? It's just, if you do go get Tiernan, that is just smart drafting by getting him, what is it, in the third or fourth round?
Third round at 66 in this situation.
Just smart drafting is what this is to me.
101 in the fourth, he's got Arkansas corner Julian Neal. Justin Jefferson, linebacker from Alabama, 142. Fabechi Inewu from Oklahoma, guard. Jamari Taylor, running back from Virginia. TJ Hall, corner from Iowa. Matthew Hibner, tight end from SMU.
Okay.
So there you go.
Another tight end. Special teamer probably by that point.
That's right.
Yeah. Got to build a roster.
Coming up, joining us as the voice of Braves Vision, Brandon Gaudin, after this. Hey, what's going on? It's Will Bowling for my friends at Fleet Feet Nashville, with multiple convenient locations across Middle Tennessee. They're in Green Hills, they're in Brentwood, Cool Springs, Hendersonville, Mount Juliet, and Murfreesboro. And Fleet Feet Nashville offers you training programs and free run clubs, giving customers access to expert coaching, structured plans, and an encouraging local community. If you want to get out there, you want to stay fit, you want to get back on the roads and start running, whether you're training for your first 5K, improving your pace, or walking for your wellness, maybe you've moved here and you don't know where that running community is, Fleet Feet Nashville is a great place to start. And Fleet Feet offers personalized shoe fittings using advanced 3D foot scanning technology to measure each foot's unique shape and stride. Not only the shoes, but also the inserts as well. The tailored solution for you that you need to not only run, but also stay running pain-free. The right shoe for your body and for your goals. Check them out at fleetfeetnashville.com to find a location, book a fitting, or learn more about local run clubs and events. Again, that's Fleet Feet Nashville online at fleetfeetnashville.com.
This is a different court, Blair. Same result, Slay. Oh, okay, Blair. See, that's Tyler Tanner. See, Tyler Tanner's in the house now.
Let's see what you got. Jerry's out, Blair.
Blair, come on. Okay, Blair, just come sit down. Come on, Blair, stop. You're going to get hurt. Blair, get off the court. That's enough.
What's the verdict, Blair?
The courtroom is where I play ball. Boy, Durham, injury law. And that ain't got no roof.
Ramon and Will on 104.5 The Zone continues. As in a moment, we are expecting to have Brandon Gaudin of Braves Vision talk a little bit of Atlanta Braves baseball here on the show. Is this the respite, Ramon, you need from frustrating draft coverage, as you've called it this morning?
It is, man. We need a little bit of a commercial break, and baseball does the job for me. I'm heavy in baseball season myself right now with my kids and just watching it. And the Braves are cooking. I enjoy every time we went down to Atlanta for a game. Also, we found a little nugget, too, from Hawk. The winner of the tickets is a who fan?
He's a Dodgers fan.
No.
I told him, I said, I don't know if we can give them away to Dodgers fans, but
that's so
you're
tough.
the caller 5, so I guess rules are rules.
That stinks.
I was wondering why you were on the phone with him for so long,
That
Hawk.
stinks.
I really debated about letting him go, but he's a huge baseball fan. Really looking forward to getting down to it. I was like, I can't do it to you.
That's real. Yeah, no, it's
But I
caller
understand.
5. Those are the only rules of it. Is you're caller 5, so it's fascinating that a Dodgers fan. See, we're equal opportunists around here. I'm trying to see when they play the Dodgers because the tickets were for any game. So
That's right.
Fascinating to see. Oh, they go to L.A.
Yeah, LA comes here too.
L.A. comes there too?
Yeah, you play home and home with every team in your league on your side of Major League Baseball.
Yeah. Oh, man. I'm trying to see when the date is. Baseball season is so long.
Yes, it is. Yes, it absolutely is.
Goodness. Okay, they guess when they play them. They play them in August. August 25th.
There you go.
Through the 27th is when the Dodger series is.
It's a good way to spend the week before Labor Day?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, you're right on that one.
Joining us now, Braves Vision broadcaster Brandon Gaudin. Talk a little Braves baseball with us. We're in the heart of Braves country. Cool for me because I feel like I know Brandon Gaudin because I watch so many Braves games and I'm locked in. Brandon, what's going on? Thanks for joining us. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. It helps when the team's off to a 16-7 start.
Certainly doesn't hurt. I will give you the negative about what we just talked about before you joined us. We just gave away 4 tickets to a Braves game of someone's choice, and it was a Dodgers fan that won the tickets. So we thank you guys for helping us out there, and we also apologize that we're sending maybe one more Dodgers fan at least to Atlanta in August.
Well, as long as it's not a Mets or Phillies fan, I think that we can accept the Dodgers for one game, 4 people. We'll treat them nicely.
I love it. Brandon Gaudin of Braves Vision with us. I want to talk about Braves Vision first, Brandon, because I'm loving what you guys are doing, the mix of the modern music and the broadcast with some of the TBS flair and tradition that I know you grew up watching as well. What have you enjoyed about this new brand and new era of the Braves on television so far this year?
Yeah, I think just a little behind the scenes how the sausage is made for us. It just feels like we are one group moving in the same direction. And not that in previous years it was bad. It wasn't. It's just different when the company that you're working for owns and operates the product. And what that means is everybody in the front office is in sync with everybody behind the scenes in the production TV truck and us on air. And it means that when you need an extra drone camera for a big Friday night game and you ask for that, they say, yes, do it. Well, when you're on the road and you need something and you normally would have to go through an act of Congress to get it approved, right now the Braves are just saying, yes, absolutely, this is our product, this matters. Most of our fans are watching on this station, so let's make sure that this is a success. And so it makes it easier. Some people have said, well, now wait, in the TBS days, it was free and I just turned on my television. Look, those days, unfortunately, or fortunately, however you want to look at it, it's over. You can't go back anymore if you're a baseball team and air every game on TBS. But I think what the Braves have done here is the modern version of it, the best that you can do in the era of streaming, mixing with linear TV. And we knew there would be some growing pains because the Braves had less than 90 days to kind of get this thing off the ground. But I've used the phrase short-term pain, long-term gain. It's going to continue to get better. And for the organization, they're going to be able to scrape so much more cash off the table and just make the organization more financially stable. It already is, but more financially stable. And hopefully that helps the payroll even more moving forward.
The voice of Braves Vision, Brandon Gaudin, with us here this morning on Ramon and Will. Braves right now, 16 wins, tied with the Dodgers for the most in Major League Baseball. What are you enjoying about the Walt Weiss-led Atlanta Braves, Brandon, and what's it been like watching him take over in that new position of leadership for an organization that, as you know, just really hasn't had much change at the top in that seat over the years?
Yeah, I think it's been tremendous. There were a lot of people that said when the hire happened, oh, this is going to be more of the same. And I guess my response to that was twofold. The Braves had a lot of success under Brian Snitker. I know people wanted more than one World Series title. Fans get greedy, and I understand that. You look at last year. Last year was not a success. There were a lot of injuries. Anybody a part of the organization would have told you that that was not the season that they expected. But I anticipated a turnaround this year, regardless who was managing. But I was happy it was Walt because I saw behind the scenes how much those guys loved Walt Weiss when he was the bench coach. And Walt had an opportunity to manage 2013 to 15 with the Rockies, and no disrespect to the Rockies, but that was at a time and still is when no matter who is managing the Rockies, there's going to be too many hurdles to overcome. So now Walt finally gets his opportunity to manage a club that can be a winner, and I think he's showing what he can do. He has this demeanor about him that on the outside, he handles his business. He's very kind, and he is. But when he needs to get into guys, he'll do it. He just does it privately. He knows how to fire guys up behind the scenes, and he has so much respect in that clubhouse. And I'll also say this. They surrounded him with a lot of new coaches and infused that staff with youth around Walt Weiss. And I think that's also helpful. You get some new voices in the room. You get some guys that are more analytics driven. And so you've got this great mix of age, of different mindsets. And I think right now we're seeing the results. It's coming together really nicely.
We're joined by voice of Braves Vision, Brandon Gaudin, this morning. Brandon, what would you say as far as like having a good manager is awesome, but also having a good core of stars on this team too that's leading the way too, like Ronald Acuna, Matt Olson. How influential have those guys been in support of Walt Weiss as well?
Yeah, that's so when they were getting ready to decide who was going to be managing, Alex Anthopoulos, general manager, certainly went and talked to a few of those longest tenured players, and they went to bat for Walt. I think that says a lot, right? I think I appreciate that Alex Anthopoulos trusted their opinion, and I think it says a lot that they wanted to keep it in-house and go with Walt. And those guys, look, there's a lot of stars on this team. There are guys now that have been there. You go around the diamond from the two that you mentioned to Michael Harris to Ozzie Albies to Austin Riley. There's some long tenured guys that this city and this team really gravitates around. I think the question coming into the season was the health, because the pitching was not healthy. It still is not healthy. There are several key starters that are out, and yet it's the top ERA in Major League Baseball that belongs to the Braves. They've scored the most runs, and they've played arguably the best defense. It's not going to be this easy all season long. They are going to hit bumps and bruises. That's the nature of 162. But if this is your foundation, and if they're pitching this well with this many injuries, once they get some of those guys back and healthy, the first of which will be Spencer Strider, who should be back here in a couple of weeks, you'd like to think that this team can take off and continue to run in the right direction. And I think it's built that way. I think it's built that every phase of this team should be strong, and this team should be a major contender come October.
When you look at just the young talent on this team as well, and I want to go to Drake Baldwin, won Rookie of the Year last year as well as catcher. How big of a gem is it to have him for what you hope is a very long time with the talent that he possesses?
He's tremendous. I mean, he's played, let's see, last night was career game, I think 145, and he drove in his 100 and 101st runs. You rarely get that type of production from a rookie now in his sophomore campaign. You typically see that boost from a guy, even the good superstars in years 3 or 4. But Drake just came up ready. And what's so impressive about him is, first, you love that he hits from the left side as a catcher, but he can spray the ball all over the field. His double yesterday came directly down the left field line that gave the Braves the lead, a lead that they would never give up. And he just comes up in key spots and makes key hits. What is interesting to me and impressive to me about Drake is I've used the word unflappable. he just kind of goes about his business. It doesn't matter whether it's the bottom of the ninth in a tie game or the top of the first in a 0-0 game. He just comes up there and has the same approach, the same look on his face, and just gets the job done. And he's one of the nicest, most humble human beings you'll ever come across. And I think when you have that demeanor in your clubhouse from a guy who is so good, it carries a lot of weight. And there are a lot of Braves that do have that mindset. But he could also be a killer when he needs to be. And I think it's tough to find an athlete that kind of possesses all of those unique traits together. But Drake Baldwin does. And he's you said Jim. He is a Jim. He was an incredible find for the organization, and he has been so successful on the field and in the clubhouse.
Television voice of the Braves, Brandon Gaudin, our guest this morning on Ramon and Will. Brandon, you, like so many of us that live in Nashville and live in this area of the country, I know grew up watching and rooting for the Braves. Now you get the opportunity to broadcast them on television. In your time doing this job, I'm just curious, as another broadcaster, like, what is that grind like of prepping every day and getting ready for a new series and just a marathon of a season that goes from spring all the way through fall? What maybe surprised you about the way that routine works now, doing that job now for a few years on television?
I think the thing I was most curious about when I took the job, I knew I would love the job. I knew I had loved the Braves since I was 7 years old. So I didn't, unlike, a lot of the guys that might get these gigs, they have to fall in love with the team and the organization. But I was already in love with the team and the organization. So that transition was easy. The part that I was curious about was, how do you, as you go throughout the course of the season, make storylines fresh and come up with new information to deliver and to talk about with these players that the people who watch so frequently haven't already heard 1,000 times? And to that, I would say two things. You got to keep in mind in this chair that people aren't, even if they are watching every night, they're kind of zoning in and out. They're having dinner. It's background noise. They're talking. They're not listening to every word you say. So if you repeat a story 3 or 4 times over the course of a month, that's fine. It's still likely very fresh for the viewer. But the other thing is, you've got a job to go down to batting practice as often as you can and talk to these players and get to know them and say, okay, what's a new story or a new angle I can share about Matt Olson or Ronald Acuna or Michael Harris that maybe that viewer at home hasn't been told yet, to keep this fresh. And then the final thing I would say is, obviously winning cures a lot of things. Sure. The first year I did this, the Braves won over 100 games and everything felt easy. The second year, they were just good enough to get into the playoffs. And then the last year, they were out of the race in the middle of the summer. And I think selfishly for me as a broadcaster, it was unique and good for me to experience kind of the highs and the lows, knowing how to navigate that and still find ways to get through the broadcasts and try to make them as entertaining as you can. I'm not saying we always succeeded at that. Certainly, I'm sure that we failed at times. But it was good as I continued to learn this business and this role, how to navigate that. And so it makes a season like this, if it continues this way, that much more rewarding.
Brandon Gaudin with us. Brandon, the best thing I can say about y'all's broadcast team is you genuinely can tell you guys are having fun. I feel like I'm just sitting in the living room with you guys watching games, and I'm tuned in almost every night. I also love the dynamic with you and Wiley Ballard. How quickly did you know that Wiley was basically going to be like a television little brother to you, and the fact that the guy has absolutely no dance moves whatsoever either?
So when I came to Atlanta, I moved to Atlanta in 2013. The reason I did was I was hired to do the play-by-play at Georgia Tech, and I stayed there in that role for 3 years before transitioning to TV. But during those 3 years, Wiley was a student at Georgia Tech. And so my office was in the sports information office, and Wiley was a sports information intern. And he came up to me, and this is 2013, so we're talking 13 years ago.
Yeah.
He introduced himself. He said he wanted to get into play-by-play, and we've had a relationship ever since. And the other thing about Wiley that very few people know is he worked for the Braves in the truck as a graphics producer. So he's from Atlanta. He had worked intimately with this organization. And when the opportunity came for him to step into that role, I think they auditioned him for a few games 2 years ago. He hit it out of the park. And then last year they hired him full time. And he's tremendous. Look, he's fun, obviously, and he's funny, and he's self-deprecating. All that's good. But the kid knows baseball.
Yeah.
And he's just really good at delivering unique reports and setting things up well. So it's been a joy to have him.
Brandon, baseball is such a long, drawn-out sport and season in general. So a lot of things are probably just different from other sports. I know in football, I feel like the locker room changed when it became more digital. Has the clubhouse vibe remained the same in your coverage of them as far as how they interact and the time they spend around the clubhouse and the road trips and stuff like that? Because the 162 games just seem like a lot from a football perspective. So how has the vibe and communication and chemistry of the team kind of evolved over that time?
Yeah, well, certainly social media and how public everything has kind of changed the day-to-day of how the players go about their business. And they're a little more guarded and cautious during the open media portion of Clubhouse where anybody can be in there with a cell phone and a camera. And I get all that. And I would be that way too if I were them. But what I would say is in the private moments or when that clubhouse is closed or when we're on the plane or on the bus, it's a really good close-knit group of guys. And even last year in the middle of the summer when the team was struggling and they were out of contention, I felt an anger in them at how they were performing, which is good, right? You don't want apathy. That's never good. This team cared that they were not winning, but the closeness of the team and the relationships of the guys, I expected to sense a shift and to sense, oh, this guy's now having a tiff with this guy or these guys are kind of not getting along. That never really happened. And I thought that was a really good sign that everything kind of remained healthy. There was like a healthy anger of, shoot, we're not as good as we want to be. Let's get this fixed. But they never turned on each other. And I thought I'm with you. 162 is long. It is different than the other sports. Yeah. And I expected to see just a little bit of animosity head to head there. But that never really was the case. And they came to spring training this year. That group, you could just tell there was a fire in their eyes. Like, yeah, we're not going through that again. We've got too good of a team. And again, long way to go, right? It's 162. They're only 23 in. But so far, what we saw in spring training and that desire and determination, they've been putting that out there on the field.
Okay.
Brandon Gaudin has been our guest here on Ramon and Will. Braves look to make it 7 in a row tonight, 5:45 Central. You can watch on Braves Vision as the Braves continue their series in D.C. against the Nationals. Brandon, thank you for joining us. Cool moment for us. Get to talk a little more baseball, a little more Braves here in the heart of Braves country. Appreciate the time.
Absolutely, guys. Been a pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely.
Yes, sir. Brandon Gaudin with us this morning as we talk a little bit of Atlanta Braves. They're hot, Ramon.
They are hot.
Number one team in baseball.
They are hot. And I asked him that question about the young catcher because, of course, like having a stud behind the plate right there does numbers for you. And I didn't realize it made Rookie of the Year as well. Like that's a big old feather in the cap right there.
Their new City Connect jerseys are so awesome. The powder blue from the 80s.
Oh, yeah, I did see them.
I showed them to you because
those are dope.
That's the first baseball jersey that I've bought in a long time.
It's the old Outkast jersey, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. And Outkast wore that on like a music video.
See, for me, it's a Dale Murphy jersey.
Two
from the
worlds.
80s. Yeah. But no, like I said before, that's the one team that both sides of my family both root for.
Mm-hmm.
Having Georgia and Tennessee family, and I know that's still the most popular Major League Baseball fandom in Nashville.
I got a tough question for you.
Kip?
You might not be able to answer it.
Kip?
Big if. I'm talking about the biggest if of them all.
I know where this is going.
If Nashville gets the team, you split hairs?
I got to have two allegiances.
That's real. I ain't even mad at it. I split hair.
I was there at Game 4 in 2021 when Dansby Swanson and Jorge Soler hit the back-to-back homers to help propel them onto a World Series title. It is the team I've watched the most in my fandom. Because they play the most games, to be fair as well. But, I mean, getting home either on Peachtree TV or Fox Sports South here in Boog Shambi, Joe Simpson or Chip Carey, Joe Simpson.
Mm-hmm.
Now Brandon Gaudin and C.J. Nitkowski and Wiley, who I think are awesome. Like the television production value of this broadcast is so good.
Yeah.
But it is the deepest rooted fandom that my family has other than our college sports allegiance. Because it's the only pro team that generationally my parents and siblings grew up cheering for. Because the Titans and Preds came to town when they were already middle school, high school age. Mm-hmm. So for us, it's our deepest rooted allegiance. I couldn't just totally give it up.
That's what I was thinking. I feel like I'd forgive it easier. I know we have the conversation of, two-sided Titans fans. And when I just asked that question, made me say, I get it. Like, if you were deep into the Cowboys growing up and the Titans came, having that question presented, I get
It's
it.
tough.
Yep.
It takes a long time to flip those allegiances, and I know it's a tough decision for a lot of folks because there are plenty Cardinals and Reds fans here in Nashville too, as well as obviously the national fan bases like the Cubs and Dodgers and Yankees and Red Sox.
Absolutely.
But we're a melting pot of baseball fandom here.
Oh, my gosh.
I think it's going to be tough to support 162 here,
Yeah.
but this city's grown so much that I'd say it is talked about in baseball circles as just a foregone conclusion
That is going to happen.
that we will get a team.
Yeah. Zeph just hit us up, producer for 3HL, and just said.
The Canadian?
Yeah, the Canadian.
Oh, cool.
It was just crazy. He's not a Blue Jays fan. It's wild to me. But he said he'd give it up. He couldn't root against any other team that Nashville brought to the city. So screw him. And I'm like, that.
I would have to do both.
It's
man. Like I said,
deeply rooted.
they would need to be AL because so many of the allegiances here in Nashville are NL allegiances. Like I would say the most popular team is definitely the Braves. But I'd say it's probably Reds and Cardinals in some order, second and third.
Yes, I agree.
So if you put the Atlanta Braves, or if you put the Nashville Stars, let's say if that's their name, you put them in the AL, then all of a sudden I think you would allow people to do a little bit of both. But like it is hard for me to envision cheering against the Atlanta Braves. I don't know if
I didn't think you'd have a clean answer. This is not as far as I thought it would go.
The team isn't here yet. The brand hasn't been created. The tour of getting people like me on board hasn't started. So for right now, this abstract thing on one side is harder for me to get behind than something that is very real and generationally rooted in my family.
I 100% agree. I like that's mental gymnastics right there.
They're appointment television for me right now. I don't miss a game.
That's dope.
I do not miss a game.
Good.
Coming up, some reporting from A to Z Sports on Jeremiyah Love that you will be interested in after this. What's up? It's Will Bowling. Springtime is cleaning time, right? But that also means it's allergy season. Did you know that carpet is the number one air filter in your home? Filtering out the airborne particulates, the pollen, the bacteria. Zero Res is going to make sure your carpet is spotless and your home just feels fresh and clean and free of those allergies. Hey, Zero Res does this better than any other carpet cleaner by not leaving harsh chemicals or soil attracting residue behind in the carpet. A clean filter, a clean carpet, that means a healthier home. Means you're staying away from those allergies. Zero Res doesn't have harsh chemicals. They have no soap residue, faster drying times, and some outstanding Google reviews as well. Just go check them out. There's nearly 5,000 of them. Call them at 615-535-9376, or you can book online at zeroresnashville.com. That's 615-535-9376. Zero Res. Spell it backwards or forwards. It's the right way to clean. And don't forget to ask about their air duct cleaning. Ramon Will on 104.5 The Zone. A lot of praise for a little baseball talk this morning.
Little ball.
On Twitter and in the F&M Bank chat. Razzle Land says, thank you for somebody finally talking about baseball on the station. Another commenter says, now y'all cooking, getting some Braves talk. Will, are you a Braves fan? Yes, I am.
If you did
Die
not
hard.
know, yeah, Will's deep in.
I actually meant to wear my World Series quarter zip today, and I forgot.
Yeah. Did you?
David writes in at Ramon Will, says, best listen in a long time. Atlanta Braves and MLB, thumbs up. NFL draft, thumbs down. Okay. Coming up tomorrow, we'll have the voice of someone else, maybe. I don't know. We got 29 other options.
People are over it, man.
I'm kidding.
It's all good.
I'm kidding. A to Z Sports and Easton Freeze with our friend Ryan Roberts doing some reporting this morning about Jeremiyah Love. We're going to have Easton on the show on draft day at 9:20 to hear the final rumblings of what's going on out there. Easton did tweet earlier this morning, I did not rock with most of Peter Schrager's Titans notes yesterday based on what I've heard. But I do rock with every single one of these bullet points, talking about Mansour Delane or Ruben Bain could be available at 12. Mansour Delane might be the only round one corner taken.
Yeah.
With Jermod McCoy falling out of the first round. Saying Arvell Reese could go 5 to the Giants. Mm-hmm. And that Jordan Tyson is in play at 5 or 10 for the New York Giants.
Interesting. The wildest storyline to me is, if you have Arvell Reese fall below 5, I think that is probably the biggest storyline of the draft.
That would be pretty incredible, considering his skill set.
Would it be the tweener conversation?
A little bit.
Yeah.
I would assume so. I mean, I just think teams are going to be split on what they believe he is. Adam Schefter, of course, wrote, there is growing chatter in league circles that Jeremiyah Love is in play with Arizona at 3. He says, ideally, the Cardinals would like to find a team willing to trade up so they can acquire more picks, and there have already been exploratory calls. Easton Freeze and Ryan Roberts says there is a lot of fire here. And speaking with one team picking in the top 5 of the draft, A to Z Sports was told Arizona's supposed interest in Love is being treated as very real in their front office. Their rookie coach is the offensive play caller. The owner needs to sell jerseys and build excitement, and it's easy to argue he's the best football player in this draft. Another source close to the Love camp verified the interest on their side. Saying the Cardinals have been aggressive in their communication, having had multiple touch points with the former Fighting Irish back. Along with the Titans and Commanders, among others, the Love camp has been swamped with a ton of interest around the league. They are preparing themselves for that number 3 overall selection, the beginning of the window for where Love could come off the board. Easton Freeze and Ryan Roberts say, we are both able to verify the Cardinals are indeed exploring trade back options. While they like Love, and there appears to also be an affinity for Miami tackle Francis Maui Noah, it is very possible that they just aren't comfortable with those options at number 3. It seems the GM's priority remains trading out of the pick. The original team source emphasized the loud chatter about Arizona's determination to move back is legit. Another team inside the top 15 verified the Cardinals appear to be eyeing a move. Real feelers out there. So there you go.
Which is crazy to me that they're drumming up this much interest. I think the most damning thing about Jeremiyah Love being gone at 3 is each of them, or A to Z, doing their own research and reaching out to the Love camp. That is a different voice.
Love camp, a team in the top 5 that they've spoken to.
It's a different voice.
So they say at the end of this, when Arizona gets on the clock, all bets are off. They could stick and pick someone like Love, or a trade could happen, or they could go off the wall and select someone we aren't expecting. Nobody seems to have a strong gauge on what the Cardinals are planning to do. They do say this, and this has been consistent. And Ramon, I believe this wholeheartedly. If the Cardinals pass on either Arvell Reese or David Bailey, whoever is available, that player will become the favorite for the Titans with the number 4 selection.
Yeah, no doubt.
If one of the 2 top edge rushers is there at 4, I expect that player to be the Titans' pick at 4.
Arvell Reese or Bailey?
Yep.
What fits this defense? Or do you go with best available player? The answer is yes on both of them.
Best available at a premium position that I think both would fit in this defense.
No doubt.
So, there you go. There's the latest. Book Rising, as you covered up next. Good time to be locked into all our shows because info changes by the hour.
Yes, it does.
During draft season and during draft week. Some of it smokescreen, some of it a real flashbang. Just think of what RB and LB uses on Call of Duty. Call of Duty. Back at it tomorrow morning Austin Price and Rhett Bryan with us for your Wednesday bright and early 6 a.m.
You got to remember, though, at all times, your Twitter fingers and your mic is always hot.